I don't like it. You know when dogs have to put down and they say destroy? Well, why do they say that and not just...
I've no idea.
They only say that when they've done something like bad, don't they?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they do actually. Yeah, you're right.
It's like, if they've like bitten someone or something like that, and they say that dog's going to be destroyed, or whatever. They don't just say it just in general.
It's like
destroyed in like a rap battle.
Destroyed is. It's just no good. When I think destroyed, I think like explosion. It's just weird.
Maybe that's what they do.
Maybe I've never been in a room when they do it, so possibly.
Yeah. Well, they put one of those big like glass domes over the top of it, and you just hear from the outside, and then they lift it up. It's just ash.
It's just red dust. There goes Fado.
Yeah, ask Sean when he gets back. He might know.
Nah, he's sensitive.
There go Fado.
You going to keep us in?
I'll probably put it at the start. Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Yes.
Matt Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And James Farley.
You alright?
Back again, another week. Hey, this goes quick, doesn't it? All of a sudden we're recording again. Granted, we were late last week. But no, we're back and everything seems fine now. Matt, have we got much follow-up this week?
We have a bit. SMW straight in there. Matt's roundups of past show events are useful. My brain can barely think back 1 week. I think they're useful. SMW, that's what I do them, Dave. Not
well, tell you what, right? If you can make them interesting, then go for it. But last week you were literally just going, and on last week's show, if you remember, there was a moment where James said, and
that's literally all he needs to do. What am I going to do? Lie?
No, don't lie. Just make it a little bit more interesting to listen to. Don't just mumble your way through what happened last week. Okay. I don't know.
Don't worry.
Be good with it.
They will be exciting this week if there's any roundups.
Good. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to hear what happened last week again. Go on.
Are you right, Dave? You seem pretty angry this week.
No, I'm in a really good mood.
Oh, okay. CSA7.
I just can't deal with your bullshit. Also, last week, there were several times where you would suddenly become the producer of the show everywhere. I don't know where you got that from.
I just want a good podcast, and sometimes...
well, so do I, and I know more about good podcasting than you do.
How do you know what I do?
I don't tell you how to tweet. I don't tell you how to tweet. Don't tell me when to move on the podcast site.
So I sound too much like adverts.
Based on what, Matt?
What do you
Based on... doing podcasting since I was about 21 and creating this that you're on now. Do you think you would be getting free games to talk about on this show if it wasn't for me?
Yeah.
Right? I know I've used that against James, but you're in the same boat.
I knew Spong first, you fucker.
Yeah, but you don't do anything for Spong, Matt.
And
you're not doing anything for Spong now. You're getting it from the Computer Game Show, a stage that I built with my own hands. Let's face it. Let's face it.
Matt, how does it feel, Matt? What you're going through right now.
Lovely.
A little bit of the old truth bomb. a little Matt's holding the truth bomb for a change, yeah?
Truth bomb.
He's got the T-bomb in his hands. Dave. It's just the truth. Don't, advocate me for talking the truth.
You quite finished?
Speaking the truth. Right, go on. Next. Go on. Come on. Let's move on.
Producing the show. CSA7, there's also been talk over the last few weeks about what percentage of the show is the show and what percentage of the show is, say, for instance, Twitter.
CS87 certainly wants to continue that gag, doesn't he? For me, I thought personally it was a quick gag, move on.
I thought it was terrible and I thought, why are we bothering with this?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of with you.
Because, of course, as we all know, James is really good at filtering out bad emails and tweets.
Yeah, perfect. So
no, I get nervous because people start having a go if I start filtering them. So it's,
Go on.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into it because it's fucking boring, as Dave just said. But Chris did do an amazing graph in Excel, the lot, which basically looks at the distribution of the show by media channel, looking at Twitter, streams, Facebook, etc. You missed out Instagram, Chris, but apart from that, all looks good. And yeah, I might move us onto other platforms.
Matt,
who knows?
How active are we on Instagram, Matt?
I was just about to ask.
I've done 2 or 3 in the last week or 2.
Really? What?
I put an image about the show, and I put another image about you being live streaming with John. Follow it. And here's
a question: your the thing that you did with the subtitles and all that sort of shit. You told me it was going to be a weekly thing. 2 podcasts have gone past, and there's not been one.
Do you know what hasn't been weekly? Not enough good points. Not enough good moments.
Come on, there's been some cracking moments. They've just been over 30 seconds long.
Nothing last week and last 2 weeks. There's been nothing really. If there's a good one this week, brilliant. I'll do it. I'll put a time in, but we need to pull this up, Dave. Ryan. Okay. Ryan Hamann is on the case as ever. Regarding my comparison between Earthworm Jim and Crash Bandicoot in my letter to Computer Game Pod, I'm coming from the perspective that Crash is better than people give it credit for. I'm not trying to shit on Jim. I like Earthworm Jim. It's just an appropriate touch point because both games sometimes sacrifice polish and playability in favour of variety. Some of Earthworm Jim's levels are a bit iffy to play, but make up for it in their great theming and humour. Crash is the same way.
I know, because from what I've seen, I'd say a lot of Crash looks iffy, like, rather than just like a couple of levels or whatever. But, I haven't played it extensively, so I couldn't say. What do you think, Dave?
I think, I want to go back and play Earthworm Jim again, because, I've sat and played Crash a lot more recently than I have Earthworm Jim, and I thought, this ain't as good as I remember, but Earthworm Jim's still brilliant, and I don't actually know that for a fact. It might be total crap.
I played Earthworm Jim 2 again recently. Gameplay-wise, it's fine. It's the ideas that make it. It's the fact that in the first level of Earthworm Jim 2, you have to grab pigs and put them on weights to and stuff, and and the whole cow thing in Earthworm Jim 1. It's just stupid shit that it constantly throws you that makes it entertaining.
See, basically. I was never a massive fan of that, to be honest, because for me it always just felt like it was trying to be too sort of wacky, I
just imagine James sitting there. How old were you when Earthworm Jim came out?
I don't know.
25, 26?
Oh, shut up, I'm not that old. What? I don't know, it's about... When did it come out? I can't remember. It was wasn't it mid-90s?
The first one was about 95, I think, yeah.
I just imagine James sitting there, as a teenager and still getting angry at stuff. And then were you ever a teenager? Yeah, I can't imagine teenage James. Yeah, I know, but were you one of these teenagers who were let's get hammered, let's do this, let's do that? Or were you James sitting there going, well, this is just silly. Everyone stop and calm down. Let's not go and see a band. It's very loud. That sort of guy. You were that sort of guy, weren't you?
No.
Next follow-up.
David Turner's internet breaks, not his fault, granted, but somehow James Farley gets it in the neck again.
Did he get it in the neck?
The amount... everyone's defending you, James. Don't worry about it. You're not on your own here.
Why?
Ryan Harmon back again. You really can't get rid of this guy. I must take issue with your statement. You really think zombies are better than ghosts? Ghost stories are some of the best that our species has ever developed. Zombie stories are super played out and trite at this point. To which I said, not now, Ryan. We're busy arguing about condiments. Because obviously the latest Splatfest has been announced, and we had a few tweets about whether we're Team Mayo or
what's
Team
going on with
Ketchup.
That? Because
we're Team Mayo. That's what's going on.
No, because we had a discussion about this, and the last thing I heard was that there was a kind of an even split. And then you, Matt, went off
2v2,
and then started just saying it was all about the mayonnaise, which obviously
James,
it's not.
James, if you've been following our Computer Game Pod on Twitter, I was doing that for a good 2 or 3 hours before I then asked in the WhatsApp group who we are, and it was an even split, so I carried on.
See, Matt this is the problem, isn't it? Matt will use the Twitter feed, it's a bit embarrassing. He was really going, Team Mayo, guys, Team Mayo. I don't know how you can, but look, I like mayonnaise. I'm not dissing mayonnaise.
Gary Doosan,
ketchup's on everything. You can just whack ketchup on so many more things than you can mayonnaise.
That's bullshit. That is bullshit, man.
It's not,
I put mayonnaise on fucking anything.
Go on, Sean, let's hear you.
No, it'd be easy to list things I wouldn't put mayonnaise on, mate. It's fucking...
What's that? What? What wouldn't you put mayonnaise on?
What would I not... Okay, so desserts, cereal...
wait, hold on. Would you put mayonnaise... Right, so would you put mayonnaise on a hot dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. Garlic mayo, yeah.
Fuck off. You would not put mayonnaise on a hot dog.
Have
No
we
chance.
got you after one question? Come on, nothing more.
Matt, shut up.
It's weird
Give us something
because,
else.
see, I feel weird about this because I'm with David on this. I think you guys are mad because there is a lot of more versatility to the tomato ketchup.
There is. You can have it in all sorts.
I prefer mayonnaise on chips, mate. You can't beat it. It's a classic.
Ketchup is just.
No,
I'm
I'm not.
bored of that. I just like mayo makes everything better.
Yeah, man.
No. The thing is, right, I agree that mayo does
Thank you.
make a lot
Next
of things
question.
better.
We'll-
Definitely. Matt, just come on. I agree that it does make things better. I'm not dissing mayonnaise, but you could just do so much more with ketchup. It's easy for me. It's fucking easy, and that's my point.
Hashtag
Ketchup
Team Mayo,
wins.
official computer game show stance.
Go on then, Matt. Now you can continue. Okay.
Team mayo. Just makes sense. I mean, both of them together. Lovely bit of.
Yeah, but Thousand
burger
Island.
sauce. Well, nice.
Yeah.
Gary Dutton, can anyone let me know if I missed anything of interest in the last 88 minutes of the show after Dave said Viennetta is bad? Tar. I mean, I'm with you there, Gary. I mean,
Well, no. Okay, anybody that experienced Viennetta in the late 80s would...
oh, for
would no,
Don't tell me
would
you're
totally-
Viennetta
no, would anyone who experienced it in the late 80s would totally understand the pale imitation that Viennetta is now.
I
Seriously.
It's the
was
same
into
as
Viennetta
Twisters,
before
man.
it was
It's the
cool.
same as Twisters. You go back and look at Twisters now; they even look shit.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
are we
the colour's
doing
gone.
that?
They haven't
It's
got like
unreal.
nuclear waste in them anymore, so now they just
Yeah,
look
I know,
like
but
dark
that
green.
nuclear waste tasted fucking good.
Yeah,
man.
no. Sorry, I'm
Matt.
just imagining like 15-year-old James
Glowing.
Even in the 80s.
banging
That's
away
not
at his
true.
Viennetta, saying, "Oh, this Viennetta's well wizard, Mum."
This is-
15 I wasn't 15 in the 80s.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were.
I want Viennetta and I want Top of the Pops on now. That's it for
Where's the
follow. If
space
you want,
hopper?
and my flares. And yeah, so
cocaine.
that's it for follow up. If you want to tweet us, it's at computergamepod, or you can email the computergameshow@gmail.com if you've got any feedback, good or bad or just bad.
Or just, yeah, we're happy to hear your negative feedback. Unlike some, podcasts that might go, we'll delete it and we'll an arse. No, we'll just read it out and ridicule you and tell you why you're wrong. Right, should we get straight to news? Who's doing news this week? Because wasn't there a big argument last week about who was
Well,
reading what?
I pitched the idea of James doing it, but he made it quite clear he had no intention
Yeah,
of
I
doing
thought we
it.
were all switching around this week.
There is no
'Cause it's
way
just
that I'm doing the news. After what used to happen... I mean, do you remember, what could that be? I'm not going through that again. It's...
Oh, God, yeah. I totally forgot that you used to do
Unless
the
you're
news.
going to add another news story about cartridges or, I don't know, Zelda 7 coming out on Game Boy or something. I don't know. Just do the news.
I'm not doing the
God
news.
damn, I remember James News now. Like, I'd completely forgotten that was a period of this show where the news used to be, there was something on Eurogamer and it looked pretty good. So,
Have you guys not heard the rumour?
There's no information, no context, nothing.
That's
It was
complete
just-
nonsense. You used to just take the piss out of everything because there wasn't enough detail for you. It was annoying.
Yeah, I don't know, James. I like to have. Wasn't there one where you just read out the headline? And then when I asked you about the story, you had nothing to say.
Look,
'cause
look,
you
I
hadn't
don't know.
read
I've just
the
read the
article.
headline.
Oh God, yeah, that was it. It was about 50% more with the dock. If when the Switch was in the dock than when you're using it in handheld mode. And James got it completely the wrong way round, and then argued for half an hour that he was right.
Look, okay, I'm not doing the news anymore. So can we just move on? So Sean, going back to it.
Sure, let's have it. What's happened in the world of computer games this week?
It's been a relatively quiet one. Pokemon Go Fest, or if you're normal, Pokemon Go Fest, was a big thing in... so there was like a main event in Chicago, and then there were like basically in cities all over the world, they'd like arranged for sort of rare Pokemon to come out in cities and stuff. So they're like all these massive gatherings. And basically in pretty much every single one, because there were also like way too many nerds all stood near each other trying to use the internet on their phones at the same time, it crashed the phone network everywhere where there was one of these things, including at the actual official event, which you had to pay to go to in Chicago.
Oh dear.
And have you guys seen the videos from this?
No, what was on the YouTube?
It's fucking excruciating, mate. So basically, there was like a stage show where they like got some of the devs out and stuff, and basically the crowd are just fucking screaming at him. Like, just booing him and just chanting, like, fix the game, and just like, we want a refund. And at least a patch. It's like, get your tablet out now and just start.
That is the greatest mob of all time. Fix the game. Release a patch. What do we want? Patch 7.1268. When do we want it? As soon as my internet can download it.
But yeah, like, people actually, like, flew over to America for this event, and it was a total fucking washout. It was ridiculous. And then they got someone else out from Niantic to sort of try and apologise again and be like, oh yeah, you're all getting like $100 worth of credit in the game. To say sorry, and people were just absolutely fucking furious.
And then people louder, like, hey, 150, louder, 5,000, $20,000. So well done them. I mean, I heard like people who even went to the event in like Chester and stuff, and it was fucked there. So it's not like it was just your big city ones. Like, no, the Chester isn't a big city, massive. Guys. It's pretty good. But what a shame. It's fascinating to me
why can't
that
you believe it was that massive. Why can't you believe it?
No,
I was surprised that it was still this big.
I don't know.
Really? I mean, it's still like articles and stuff about it, isn't there?
Is there?
There are articles when there's like because I think they recently released new Pokemon into it. I don't know. I mean, obviously no one I know is really talking about it. I'm sure the hardcore's still into it, but
I still regularly see people on the bus playing it. Yeah, genuinely. I'm not fucking around. You just see people sitting on the bus like looking for Pokestops and stuff like that. I still see it quite a bit. So I'm not massively surprised. Although, chatter has died down in my social circle, but I still
when
see
you get on the bus, everyone's playing it. Everyone on the cool bus is playing it.
They see me coming. Yeah, and maybe it's just that one bus, and they all went to America.
Bus. You're on the Pokemon bus.
I've been getting the Pokemon Go fan bus every morning to work.
Like, that's why. That's why every Christmas
I forgot to mention that.
Pikachu.
I mean, it's one of those things. I get people like us were probably never the target audience, which is fine. I guess it's skewed towards younger players. Sorry, can you hear that? The dog's scratching a fucking ear. Jesus Christ.
No, I not only can I hear it, I can hear myself editing it out tomorrow night thinking, for fuck's sake, Sean.
It's alright, I'll edit it out, it's fine.
Every fucking week. Right, okay, cool, next story.
So, Sega are making a new arcade racing game.
Yes, they are, Sean.
And, I mean, all the news stories are like, it looks incredible, but, I mean, the trailer shows, like, what, about 2 seconds of actual...
Does it show any in-game footage?
It just shows a couple of bits, doesn't it?
I don't know.
It didn't look like it. It was either one of the best-looking racing games of all time, or I wonder where that tradition went. I know that consoles have got an insane amount more powerful and stuff like that. But you think, consider the size of arcades and that. Maybe it's just like not worth the money. Just making a super PC and stick it in an arcade for
it's
people
weird,
to
isn't
play.
it? Because arcades always used to like properly lead the way in terms of visuals and stuff. It was
totally.
always, that was always the bar for home consoles, wasn't it? Like arcade quality. So,
it was amazing because like Dreamcast it was basically the same as the Sega's Naomi board. I'm sure. Right, yeah. So that ports straight from things like Crazy Taxi and all the other Naomi powered arcades at a time, going straight to Dreamcast arcade quality. It was amazing. Yeah, and obviously. Me coming from a seaside town, I had a big amusements on the pier, and I was, we're playing arcades all the time when I was younger in summer every day. And, I played so much back then. It's a shame it's not really the case anymore.
Yeah. Do you think Sega is still good at racing games?
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing the Initial D games for ages, which are based on an anime series, and apparently are good, but I don't know if any of them actually make it over here these days. I've seen a couple of them in London back in the...
I remember playing one of them on Dreamcast. That's the one where you sort of flash your lights and race people down tunnels, right? Yeah, it's
basically all about... It's like a soap opera with boy racers in it, as I understand it.
Apparently they're good.
So yeah.
Anyway, this
Weird.
one.
So
It's called Sega World Drivers Championship. The trailer, it's a minute and 16. It's mostly just real life footage of Japanese touring cars or Super GT. But then the last 10 seconds it says SWDC Sega World Drivers Championship, and it's just pure Sega. That's enough to get me excited. And I'll never see this in an arcade near me because there isn't one in Leeds. But yeah, it just there's shots of the arcade cabinets on this Eurogamer piece, and oh my god, it looks good.
Butlins in it, Matt.
Well, if Butlins got in this, I'll never.
I was just
leave.
going to say, like, what actual like new or modern arcades are left, like even in London? Because obviously the Trocadero was gutted and is now a hotel or something.
Well, the big one's the Namco Centre, isn't it? By on the South Bank.
Yeah, but that's just pretty much
that's
just
still
Namco stuff,
going.
isn't it?
I haven't been there for a long time, but I assume it's still.
If I think about where I see arcades the most, they're in bowling alleys now, aren't they? Like most, I mean,
Yeah,
certainly
they
the
really
ones near
are.
me,
Yeah.
all the bowling alleys have this massive arcade section with Mario Kart arcade and all the things like basically all the mobile games like Flappy Bird, but turned into arcade machines and the jumping one, whatever, a doodle jump. But yeah, God, the idea of playing this like six cabinet Sega racing game looks class. I mean, in this piece, they reference the fact it has some resemblance to the mediocre, or as in their words, 1996's fairly mediocre Sega Touring Car Championship. Yes, it was mediocre, but boy, did I love that game. I mean, the handling was weird. It was a bit like driving a box, but every now and then the back end would slip out. But I love that. But again, it was on Saturn, so of course I did.
I think the one thing, as you say, the one thing that got me interested in this title was, seeing that arcade with all those seats and all those screens, and just like thinking, oh my god, do you remember when you like come across a 4-player Daytona USA cabinet?
4-player Sega Rally, my god,
the best. Just so good. So maybe it'd be good, but we'll never play it ever.
I mean,
Isn't there a new Daytona coming?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this obviously they've just mentioned this as the arcade, but they've also just recently released a new Daytona in the arcade. I mean, Sega, please put this on consoles. Like, surely at this point, as we just said, basically the arcades aren't a million miles away from PCs anyway. Surely just bang them out on console. Why wouldn't they? They're not going to make a lot of money. Just keeping them in the arcades.
See, I miss some of those sort of like more like arcade style races they used to have. Like Ridge Racer. That hasn't been around for a while, has it? When was the last one of those?
3DS one, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that racer which was a Kickstarter? It was originally meant to be for Wii U.
It was called like 90s Arcade Racer or something.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I'm sure I saw a news story about it only like in the last week or two. But that looks like proper classic old school Sega racing game.
Because that was supposed to be.
No,
I don't think it did,
because it was meant to be on Wii U, and then it didn't, for obvious reasons. But there's going to be a Switch version. I don't think there was ever a version that's come out, did it? Unless I was wrong.
I thought it did. Okay, but because couldn't you buy advertising for it as well for like quite reasonable amount of money? I was considering doing it for the show, but the closest thing I've had to arcade racing, like Sega arcade racing recently, is Trackmania, because when the feeling of that feels a lot like a modernised Sega arcade racing game. But yeah, I think there is a bit of a gap in the market. I just can't see myself playing it that much if it was on the... I mean, I'd definitely have a go of it in an arcade if I came across it, but I can't see myself buying it and playing it online or anything like that.
Okay, bit of an update. That 90s Arcade Racer, in the last week, they've confirmed that it's actually changing name, and now it's going to be called 90s Super GP. There's still no release date, but it is due to come out on Switch. But from the screenshots, that is pure Sega old school racing game.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
but this has been going for a long time because I was just looking at this page and it had like estimated delivery November 2013, which was a while ago.
Sorry, did you say it was Kickstarter?
This is what I was going to say. Like the news story that Matt heard, was it them asking for more money? It's the
just to minimise risk.
Now, more money, please.
But yeah, I mean, they had it running at 60 FPS on the Wii U, so hopefully the Switch port won't be too big a faff. But it's pretty much, it's just one guy working on it, isn't it? I think. I don't know, obviously it's being published by Nicalis. So I don't know if they're actually helping with it or anything. We'd assume so if they're putting money in. I want to make sure it actually fucking comes out. But yeah.
There we go.
If that comes out on the Switch, that'll be banging.
Next.
Last one, again, quite a week, so I'm reaching a bit here. So we mentioned last week that Sports Direct have bought a quarter of Game, and they've just posted their financial year-end results, and profits have fallen by 60%. That's a good move from them. I mean, obviously, this like them buying Game won't have had a massive impact on that, but it's just interesting.
I know this is the move trading, I guess no one was supposed to know, but it's weird that he might have bought them a week before, or what? It's weird that he bought them a week or so before the financial results had just come out.
Yeah,
but surely, look, is it going to fuck? Yeah, it's going to be fuck. It's going to be a total mess. Okay, I'll get him relatively cheap.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure he knew what their profits were before he purchased those shares.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why he purchased those shares. Yeah, I've got.
That's why it's interesting to me that like if he's buying shares in Game thinking that's going to help them out, then he's he's in for a shock.
No, but the company is like whatever the parent company has started buying for like in other companies as well. He's buying loads of different things, and like I think they're just trying to diversify or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, fine, cool. Let's get straight on to what you've been playing.
Wait. Okay, hang on. I've got a question here, right? One of the biggest pieces of news from last week was the release of the Nintendo app, like the Switch.
Yeah, well, we're going to get on to that.
What are we going to do? Where are we going to do that? When are we going to talk about that?
We're going to be talking about, right, so coming up, we've got the big Splatoon 2 thing, because we've all bought it, we're all ready to talk about it, and that's fine. I was going to ask before we started that, should we start with the app stuff?
Yeah.
And then move on to Splatoon? I think that's probably the best way of doing it, because we had quite a emotional roller coaster during this week, with regards to the app coming out and us all playing Splatoon and stuff. And I think we should go through it in order, because, what was it? The app launched on Wednesday last week.
Yeah, so the app became available. It was the day after we
recorded.
And then no one could actually log in on it for another day, or was it just later that day?
No, it was half a day. It was only a few hours. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to it. Yeah. Let me just get these ones out of the way first. I did play a little bit of Destiny 2, the online beta. Everything you said last week was bang on. I didn't get to play any of the multiplayer stuff, so I did the first mission, and yeah, it looks incredible. It feels incredible. I did have one question, because you guys have been following it more closely than I have. So instead of just having your grenade and melee options, there was a third thing there. Did you know how to activate that?
What, you mean your super?
No, you had your super, which was the gold bar that you had to build up, right? That's what usually your super is.
Oh,
but then there was 3 icons.
Yeah. Well, I was playing as a hunter, and that was just double tap circle to do a dodge roll.
Right, okay. That makes sense, because I was just pressing like single buttons and nothing was happening. I mean, the visual upgrade it's had this time around is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks so much better. But I was chatting to Matt while we were playing Splatoon last night, and he was saying this feels like the game that is really going to push us through to Destiny 2. And once that game comes out, everything else can fuck off. And I think I'm in that sort of mindset at the moment.
Yeah.
I also played a little bit of Pro Evolution Soccer 2018 last night, and by a little bit I mean one game, because oh my god, that game is going to be very good. They don't usually do betas like this, right? They clearly, like, you could go in and you could play online matches only, and you could play co-op matches only. And it's so clear that they're thinking, okay, finally, we're going to get this game running online, because it was always a ball ache. I didn't have too much problems with playing it on 2017 online, but I know a lot of people did, and co-op was a complete nightmare. Here, they've really focused on co-op gaming, haven't they, Matt?
They have, but obviously in this beta, you can't. It would appear you can't play with your friends in the co-op. So
no, but
Dave and I tried to play together, and there was no sort of invite friend option. You just had to play with randoms. But even so, it worked well.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to pick people off from all over the world to sort of stress test the system, and it worked flawlessly. And it did more than FIFA does in its co-op play. So when you play FIFA in co-op, you just play the game, and then the game plays out and you finish. With this, there's like loads of little neat touches, like it gives you constant stats about your teammates and who's doing better out of the three of you. It comes up with your username. So like when you play FIFA, it comes up with the player's name and their stats, you know, how many shots they've had, how many on target, how many passes they've completed. Here it does it for individual players, which is really good to keep track of.
So rather than say Messi and his passes, it's David Turner's and Matt Murray and stuff. It tells like interceptions and tackles made, tackles completed. So yeah, it makes it feel really competitive.
Yeah, and there's the stuff down the bottom of the screen as well. So it lists out all the names at the bottom of the screen, and it rates everything you do. And you've got this bar, and the higher the bar goes up, the better, score you're getting individually as well as working on a team. And to be honest, I think that's to try and get people to play properly.
Oh, definitely.
Because, when you're playing FIFA Online cards, suddenly you get a div as a partner, and he just pisses around and starts hacking everyone down and stuff.
Are you going to say that, James?
No, I used to always just play against James. It's quite easy to do. No, so you get a rating as you're playing it, and I think that sort of encourages people to pass the ball as much as they can and to move around into good positions and stuff. It looks a lot better. I didn't notice much difference in how it played. I don't know if that's much. I wouldn't complain if the people developing Pro Evolution Soccer this year said, okay, we're barely going to touch the gameplay. We're going to get all the other shit right this time. We're just going to focus on all the other shit this year. Because 2017 played superbly. And if this co-op thing is as good as it looks like it's going to be, then my word, that I never even need to look at FIFA again.
Yeah, the on-screen presentation is really good. I don't just mean the actual graphics of the character models or anything, but actually just how they presented graphics and statistics online on the screen looks really sharp. It looks really modern. It doesn't look like that familiar sort of PES jank, which, FIFA has the graphic, it has licenses, it looks sharp, it looks smart, but gameplay wise I just prepare PES, but PES has never really had all that other stuff. It's always looked a bit, you can tell there's not as much budget as FIFA has, but in terms of pure gameplay, it's got that, and now it looks like it's trying to improve also its on-screen presentation as well. And yeah, I really love all that stuff where it compares all the people you're playing against, and particularly this bar along the bottom, because when I was playing in the game I played last night, I had the least amount of points out of everyone, and so it made me want to pass better and do more for the team. And if I had a good couple of tackles and a good pass or a shot, I was looking at my bar going up slightly, and it's great they are doing a beta, because as you said, Dave, their online has always been a bit dodgy. So if they get this done and this does actually provide valuable feedback and they can make actual changes before the game comes out, that would be brilliant for everyone.
James, you finally made a decision on what you're going to do with FIFA this year, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Switch version this time.
I fucking knew you would. It just seems like totally, even that I'm tempted by FIFA on the Switch. I'm not tempted by FIFA on the Xbox One or PS4 at all. But the Switch version, I'm very interested in, because just to get a quick game of football in and play that career mode,
exactly,
it just seems perfect.
Yeah,
so that's the only thing I'm interested in with it anyway. So that it kind of is perfect for that. I mean, obviously the journey's not in it, but I played some of that and it's not that good, so I don't really care.
Yeah. So PES on the main console, as it were, and then FIFA on the handheld and on TV when you want to. Perfect.
Cool. Perfect. Right, okay. Any other games that we haven't mentioned that you want to talk about? Anyone?
I've played a few other bits. I played a bit more No Man's Sky, obviously. Still great. And the ARG is kicking into, it's getting even bigger now. This week they were asking people to take pictures of like church bells and musical instruments in capital cities around the world. There's this whole website that got updated over the weekend, and then there's these codes to crack, which actually asks people to get this email printed out and like put these two things together to decode this stuff. I obviously didn't do it. I just went on Reddit. And actually I got Sean, again, one of the listeners DM me saying, Matt, you've got to do this now. We need these codes today. Anyway, we being the No Man's Sky community. but that's still happening. And I've been playing Tiny Tracks, which is the new Future Lab game on PSVR this week. And
so Future Labs did.
Future Labs did Velocity 2X on Vita. They did Velocity Ultra. Surge, I think was another one they did a while back. But yeah, basically, so those games, although obviously Vita games, so they probably didn't get the biggest amount of reach. They were impeccably designed. I didn't play them as much as Chet and John did on their podcast, but they were huge proponents of those games. But what I did play is very clear that they had really incredibly well designed mechanics within those games. And their new game is out. I think it'll be out by the time this podcast launches. It came out on Tuesday, 25th of July. So yesterday, if you're listening to this on the day of release, and the game is called Tiny Tracks. It's a VR game, and it's essentially Scalextric, but in VR. So you can play the game stood up or sat down. I've typically played sat down, and when the game starts, you are basically just sat in and around, or I guess or within this with this Scalextric like track. And all his tracks look absolutely gorgeous. There's some like lava levels, there's some in beaches, some in space, and you can obviously just sit down and you press accelerate and your car goes around a track around you, over your head, and whatnot. But you can also, obviously, with it being in VR, you can like move forward to look through parts of the level. Like one I played tonight with John, actually, John Denton. From the angle you're viewing the circuit, you can basically see a lot of this lava in this level, but you can basically poke your head through and see the back stages of the race circuit, which is pretty cool. When I first started playing this, I've had this for a couple of weeks now. When I first started playing it, I thought, this doesn't really need to be in VR at all. It's just, I don't really see the benefit. But after playing a bit more, and particularly after a few games I played tonight with John, I can really see the benefit. Obviously, with it being Scalextric, like, if it wasn't in VR, I basically would have to be a sort of third-person camera, but this utilises VR really well, and it does try and hark back to those old times we play Scalextric, where you're trying to look around the entire circuit, but from one fixed position. So, were you guys ever into Scalextric as kids?
Yeah. I used to just hold the trigger as hard as I could, and the cars would just fly off the corners. And my dad must have fucking hated me when I was doing that. I must have just been so irritating.
It wasn't because of that. I mean, we didn't really have Scalextrics, but Harry's bang into them, so we've been using them quite recently, actually.
I bet he even takes the corners properly, does he?
Well, the problem is that he lowers bridges and gets Luigi's head chopped off, doesn't he? So it's it's not been the perfect start to the world of motoring for my son, but he's getting there. He's getting there.
So in Tiny Tracks, unlike say real Scalextric, and this isn't obviously licensed anyway. It's just the same sort of slot car racing. Unlike Scalextric, where your cars come off a track, they don't come off a track, but when you go around corners, you can basically turn into the corners even though you're on rails, and it's about judging how much you turn into the corner. If you properly slam on and turn as hard as you can, then your car essentially stops. It basically it doesn't go much further, so you need to judge how much you can steer around a corner to get the best amount of speed. When you do turn around corners, you can fill up a boost, and that boost can be deployed anywhere else, anywhere around circuit. Of course, you can, if you're really good, I guess, boost around corners whilst turning just the right amount to gain more boost. But typically, these boosts are required for straights, or if there's also loop-the-loops or parts of the circuit where you're basically just driving straight up vertically. So those are the points you really need to boost. Now, I've played a fair few games and a few like tournaments, and I played, as I said, a few games earlier with John, and I still haven't quite got this cornering mechanic down. The few times I've got it right, and I've bombed around the corner and I've turned it just the right amount, it felt absolutely brilliant, and you can tell it's from the same studio that had some of the really great mechanics of their previous games, but that's only happened like few and far between. I'm sure if I play it a lot more, and I do intend to, then I'll get that cornering mechanic down, because right now it's not really satisfying, but that's because I haven't really got to grips with it. Yeah. But yeah, so you can have, these races are 4-player races. You can switch lanes. Obviously it makes sense to switch to the inside lane to to take a tighter corner. There are all sorts of varied tracks. There are online tournaments you can do. You can invite people to your races and join others. All the tracks are really, really beautiful. And I've probably done about 10 or so tracks. I'm not sure how many there are actually in the full game, but, as I'm going up in the further tournaments and more complex championships, these courses are getting more and more complex, and every time you first load into a race, John and I will both be going, oh wow, it's just I'm not gonna say it takes your breath away, but it's just really cool to suddenly see these tracks in 3D around your head, and yeah, it's pretty cool to just be able to like lean in and look and to see different parts of the track. I'm looking forward to playing more. I'm not sure how much it is, unfortunately, so I can't come on the price, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And I think if you had a few of your mates playing if you and your mates all get this, I think you have a really good time. I've played a few championships and I get absolutely destroyed by the computer. That's probably because I'm not very good, but also I feel like they could probably maybe tone the difficulty down slightly. But just playing me and John, 2 players, really good, and we played some 4-player today. Future Labs was streaming, and we got to join in on their live stream of the game earlier tonight. And 4 players, really, really awesome fun. I think if you have 3 mates all on the same level, I think you'll have a great time.
Yeah, but I mean, when you say... sorry, did you say this could be played non-VR or no?
No, it's VR only, yeah.
So how are you going to get 4 of your mates together? You need a pretty dedicated group of friends, don't you?
I guess. But yeah, if you've got any other friends who enjoy racing games, and you went Scalextric back in the day, I reckon you'll have a great time.
Cool. All right then, fine. Should we get straight to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I say straight to it. We've been talking about other games for God knows how long. Right. So Splatoon came out last week, and as did Nintendo's app, which launched last Wednesday, as we said. We were all a bit concerned with the app when we first saw it. It seemed to be pretty much browser-based, especially for the Nintendo, for the what they call it?
Splatnet. Yeah.
Splatnet too.
That seemed pretty browser-based. But there was also a few people working things out about the app. For example, it didn't appear to run in the background, which was worrying because that meant that if you wanted to chat to your friends, you had to have your phone on, set to not auto-lock. And
no, that doesn't matter. It doesn't auto-lock anyway, I don't think.
What do you mean?
Well, on mine, when I just left it didn't seem to... Like, the app seemed to stay on.
It overrides the auto-lock.
It forces the screen to stay awake, yeah. But then you just have to be aware that you're going to lose half your battery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is what happened when we played Tron.
Yeah. And then there was some other bits and pieces, like I mean, when you listen back to what we were talking about, we talked about this app a lot. And when you look back at what we were saying it's going to be shit because of this, this, and this. And we didn't even know the half of it. Like, we're going, how do you party up? Because, you're going to be sending messages. Are you going to get them on the phone? Is it going to show up on the game if someone's sending you a party invite? Oh, it's just going to be a mess. We didn't even consider the concept that there would be no party chat, that you would have to be in a game to launch the fucking thing, and then in a specific part of the game to invite. Now, I haven't used the app. Sean and James, you attempted to. So what was the process? So how did it go? Like, how did it work?
So basically, yeah, in the game, you then, like, because in the app, it's like, how do I create a party with my friends? And it's like, well, in Splatoon 2, you need to go here, which is sort of doesn't bode massively well about, if they were adding it to any other games, surely they would just have sort of generic instructions rather than here's what you do in Splatoon 2, but whatever. So yeah, basically it's when you go to the multiplayer menu, it's just one of the options, which is like, I can't remember, it's like group battle or something, group party up, whatever.
It's a private, it's like an online, isn't it like an online lounge or something?
Yeah,
online lounge, that's it, yeah. And what I didn't realise, and what nobody realised prior to the app coming out, is that all you'd be able to do with it is private battles. So I was under the impression. I mean, I'm getting off topic here, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Basically, yeah. So you create a server or a lounge, whatever, and it's just like a lobby in the game, and then on your phone, it then goes to this like chat lobby, and then from there you can send the invite link either to your Switch friends, or you can just create a link and you can post it to Twitter or WhatsApp or whatever. Like, I'm still sort of alright with that. It's everything that comes after this. Because it was cool to be able to just put a link in the TCGS WhatsApp group and just be like, right, here you go, lads. And if the app was any good, that's something we'd probably continue to do.
I agree with that, but it is not better than being on your Switch, checking your friends list, and saying invite to game.
But it's a sort of half decent workaround for it being on your phone. Like, if it's going to be on your phone, then that's like
a workaround. Why does this need to happen?
No, I'm just saying, like, if we accept that it's on the phone, and I'm not saying you should, but if you do, then that is at least a useful thing to get out of it, to be able to just link, post invites to your Twitter or WhatsApp or whatever. That's cool. But yeah, and then you get into the chat room, so you send your invite to your friend or whatever, and then
just before we get into that, so James, did you click on the link that Sean sent, or vice versa? What happens then?
Yeah, well, I did that, but then the trouble is then that person, you also have to go into the lounge as well. Because it doesn't automatically do any of this stuff at all.
So you're on your phone, do whatever you do. You get a WhatsApp message from Sean or anyone else. Doesn't have to be Sean. Sean texts you a link. You click on the link, and it opens the Nintendo app, I presume, at that point.
No. Well, it doesn't even do that because it doesn't automatically open the app. It actually, first of all, it opens your web browser, and then it's
it does. Yeah, I noticed that.
Then you have to click another button, like another tab, to then open the app, and then it goes into the app and it starts to connect you. But then it says, "Okay, now on your Switch, you need to go into the online lounge or whatever." Mm-hmm. So while you're doing,
oh my god, hang on. So just so at that point, you're not in the party yet until you're actually in the.
Matt, there's no party. There's no party.
I'm going to stop using that word. There's
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's such a common phrase now when you talk about getting together with your mates online.
That was one of the things which threw me off immediately, because I managed to get into it, and so we were sitting there in the lobby, and there's there's spaces slots for 8. So Sean was like, okay, what should we do? So we said, okay, let's just start it anyway. And I was so used to the idea that it's like you're in a party, you can just keep chatting. I'd completely forgotten the fact that it would put us on separate teams, and then we wouldn't be able to talk to each other for the duration of the game.
Slow down. What happened?
Okay, so the way it works is because it puts you in a private lobby, with 7 other people. The idea is it then puts you in random teams, and then for the duration of the game, it creates 2 separate voice channels. Like, that is a feature. It's not a.
Hang on, so you're never in a party. You're just in a game.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically. Like, we could chat when we're in the lobby, but then as soon as we went into a game, because there was only 2 of us, it was separating us into our own voice channels on our own.
And then we couldn't talk to each other, so it was a bit odd. But then, can I talk about the sound quality?
Oh yes, please do.
Because
hell.
That was the other thing, because the sound quality was shocking. Like, it was really, really bad. I mean, also, it's picking up everything that's going on in your room. Is,
you forget how much clever processing Skype and Discord do. When you hear something like this, it's just like, oh my god, this sounds dreadful. You can just hear all other noises going on in the room, really loud.
And it's all it's crackly as well. I mean, it sounds like you're using an analog phone kind of thing. It's really poor bit rate or something. And then it's funny because then when we switch to Discord, it's just unbelievable. You're just
night and day,
wow.
isn't it? Yeah.
And so the sound quality is really bad. It's not that good.
So and it's it's that thing of it's not just you create a party and then like you say, people could join it on their phone and be like, right, I'm just loading the game up now, we'll be there in 2 minutes or whatever. It's like, nope, it just sits there going, okay, now load the game up. And
I mean, there's no. See, the thing is, right, is when this app launched, immediately I, as you'd imagine, had problems with it, which kind of irritated me. The things that irritated me the most when I opened it was how bare bones it is, and the fact that I couldn't even see, there's no friends list, you can't see, who's, that would be useful if you could just see, who's playing or who's online or whatever. These are, basic features that, have been around for a very, very long time. and it didn't have that. I mean, Sean, he doesn't care about the fact that there's no messaging either. But that's also irritating.
I'm sticking to that one. I'm still alright with that.
But it's
I mean, you
it's
can
still
stick
kind
to
of
it, but
crazy,
you've
though,
got to
that you
understand that people do use that shit a lot.
Yeah,
that was genuinely news to me. Honestly, I don't.
But messaging is in every app.
Messaging on
like,
PSN.
It's in Instagram. It's in wherever you converse with other people, you want to be able to send a message.
It's in disk driving.
Exactly. I use that a lot.
It's like even in like the most rubbish like iOS apps, they have that where you can just like send a message to each other or whatever. But you can't do that like in this app.
It is odd that it doesn't have it. I'll give you that. And now that I'm learning that people do actually use it on Xbox Live or PSN or whatever, then I can see why that would.
But there's like
sting,
literally no features at all. And the fact also, I mean, why aren't they using this? I mean, this probably would annoy me because of my feelings on advertising and everything. But why aren't they like piping news through this thing as well? Like, why are they not showing? Like, there's nothing in it.
Yeah, like if it was so bare bones, but like we said about like the general Switch interface, like yes, there's fuck all to it, but it's quick and it fucking works. But that this doesn't even have that. Like it still feels a bit clunky and it's a bit slow to do anything. And
I mean, there's absolutely, I can't think of any reason why you'd use it apart from the fact that you'd want to have a look at like your stats or whatever.
Yeah, I can see myself using this after the fact, but not ever for the game.
Yeah, like I've been checking Splatnet 2 a lot, and I've got some cool gear out of it. I've not been looking at my stats or anything.
Yeah, but that could all be done on a website.
Yeah,
like on a.
Well,
like,
it's fucking.
It's a browser. Like it's not that information it gives you is cool. I like that. It gives you all these stats and stuff. But because it's all done on a browser, it feels so slow. Like to do anything, it's like it's loading a web page.
Yeah,
and
it's like the way images all load in and stuff bit by bit. It looks kind of weird.
And it's odd because on the Switch they had like this news story where they were like promoting it. And it had like enhance your Splatoon 2 like play, and it's like this actually does do the opposite of enhancing it. It makes it worse. It really does. Like I mean, it'd be better to just
how
because it'd be better to play with just random people or use Discord than it is to go through using that. app.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's
I thought you meant like the stats and shit like that.
No.
On a boring technical note, so we mentioned like it keeps the screen awake and stuff. And yeah, if you so even though it encourages you to send invites through other apps, if you switch those other apps, you're then muted on the call, and then you have to open the app again for it. Yeah, so that's shit. Also, I don't know if this is a thing on iOS, but on Android, once I've opened the app, if I then just hit the home button and then go and do something else, my phone like still thinks it's in a call on the app, even though I've not been in a voice channel. And like if I hit the volume buttons, it's like it's changing my call volume rather than.
Oh no, mine no.
So then I have to go like get the task manager up and fucking close it manually before I can change the volume and anything else again.
Oh my god,
we don't get that. We just get the whole thing of like even if you wanted to look at like the notification tray, it boots you out of like the chat or whatever. The voice channel. It's a joke.
There's also no special areas for Mario Kart or ARMS or Zelda or whatever.
Yeah, because you would think like, oh right, cool. This would especially like the way the lobbies work in ARMS. That whole thing of having like a room but then splitting you off into different voice channels would actually really make sense. Because ARMS just has this thing where you have like a lobby of like 8 people, and then it'd be like, right, you two are having a fight, you 4 are doing a team battle, you 2 are playing fucking basketball. That would work.
I mean,
if the rest of the app was any good.
This app's so basic, it feels like it was knocked up in a week. I mean, it's
super really
basic.
embarrassing.
When you look at clothes you can buy and whatnot, can you even see the abilities of those things?
It shows you the abilities and how much they will actually cost you in game money.
Yeah, because I just tried to look at something and I accidentally bought it. Like, how? Like, I keep clicking all the images, I just can't see any abilities. It just says common abilities.
It's right there. There's a little symbol by the
okay. Well, anyway,
by what you buy.
See, and what's odd about this whole thing is that obviously, I mean, we don't know. Prick. Anyway, we don't.
I wasn't taking a piss out of you. I was taking a piss out of Nintendo. The whole thing's odd.
So, I mean, the thing that's odd about it is that obviously this is because they don't want us talking to each other. Like, they don't want people talking to each other, because that's what it feels like. Maybe there's this, they got this fear that people are going to, like, groom people or whatever. But then...
again, that is not an excuse
I
anymore.
totally agree with you. It's totally not an excuse.
they've got parental controls on this shit.
But then also, they're not bothering to check any of those images that are being posted on the Splatoon, are they?
No, they're not.
Which are
absolutely
mental.
not.
I mean, it's crazy.
This is worse than I ever imagined it could be.
Yeah.
And to think that they're going to start charging people to use it is beyond insane.
Yeah.
It's beyond insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's clearly why I delayed it. Must have internal testing saying you cannot charge for this for another year.
yeah. I mean, there's a feedback button on it.
You've worn it out.
I don't like the whole idea of people getting together and going, "This is shit." But
it is.
But it's
Nintendo
really,
need to
really
hear from a
fucking
lot
bad.
of people that this is just not going to be acceptable and no one's going to pay for it, because my word, it does no favours that people are saying there's no games on the Switch, and then you load up their official launch app and there's one game on there. There's just loads of shit that you just think, oh my god. I mean, we knew it was going to be bad, and James was sort of pointing this out very early on.
I know. I was going to go for a whole "I told you so" thing.
Yeah. I mean, when Sean is saying it's shit, you know that Nintendo have fucked up. That is next level. But ultimately,
I mean, I don't see how anyone can defend any aspect of this, because it's just a joke. What is there? There's nothing good about it at all. It's just so.
I can't defend the app, but last night when I played with you, Dave, I didn't need to use the app. So, what did you create a game through the app? Is that what you did when you and I played last night?
No,
because we'll get onto that, because this is the other thing. Okay, so let's go on to Splatoon 2, but let's start with the stuff that we were all getting frustrated with, because Splatoon 2 come out, we've sort of had a fair hint that the online was not going to be what we hoped it would be. Then we launched it, on the first day. The day it came out, we all got together and played, well, except for Matt, we got together and we played a little bit of Squid Run or whatever. And we were saying, oh god, you can't, we can't just get together and play together against a random team.
Yeah.
We can't play Squid Run every night, because that's every other night. There seemed to be this list of things stopping us doing from what we wanted to do with that game. And then there's been this whole big explosion, a whole big thing about this on Twitter, with people complaining, saying, I can't play with my mates, it's a ball ache to play with my mates, what the fuck is this shit? You have to, before you can literally get together with your mates and take on a team, you have to level up to rank 10. Now, I've put...
Whoa. No, you have to level up to rank 10, and then, in ranked mode, you have to get your rank in one of the 3 game modes to B- as well.
Oh, hold on. I thought you could play as a team in ranked mode.
Nope. You have to unlock League Battle, which comes after ranked mode.
So I can't do 2 at the same
shit.
time. I need to do the level 10 one, then do the 1 0 to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this
and
is the thing.
especially bearing in mind, so in regular battle mode, right? Every match you do, win or lose, you get some experience points. Ranked mode, bearing in mind you're still playing against strangers, some of whom literally might be 6 years old. If you get absolutely battered, you will get nothing at all. And if you lose enough games, your rank actually can go down again. So unlocking League Battle is a fucking slog. So
I'm sure last time you told me, you said it was ranked mode.
No.
And
League
this is all
mode
new
is the one where you
information
can
to me.
team up with your mates. Yeah.
Holy fuck!
And this is what's sad,
Wow.
because it's just there's often a bunch of things that it's like they're trying to stop you having fun. With this thing.
Okay, so as stupid as it is, I see the approach they've taken. Right, they've looked at it from a purely game design point of view, where they've gone, right, well, in these modes, it's loads of people, loads of randoms will be playing together. They won't be able to talk. They won't be able to coordinate what weapons they're using. So why should people be allowed to team up? If you're playing on your own, you shouldn't then have to go up against a team of organised mates, right? That's the way they're looking at it, because they think that's unfair. What they don't seem to get is, if they looked at any other online game, is that people will take that on the chin for the ability to just play with their mates and take on other people. Like,
No,
no one cares about that.
I totally agree with that mindset.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of. I always like it when I jump on to an online game. The first time I saw it was in a Call of Duty game where it said solo play. So you'll
like
be linked
lone
up with
wolf mode
other
or whatever it's
solo
called.
players,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I like that approach. I genuinely think that is a good idea, but don't lock away modes that you can play with your friends with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't lock that stuff away to be unlocked through ranking. You know, have that stuff for people that just want to play solo and don't want to get matched up against like full teams that are going to tear you apart in seconds. Keep it separate. Let people that want to play team mode play team mode, and people that want to play on their own play on their own. Like it's so simple to me, and it's done in so many different games.
Yeah, it's a problem that's been fixed numerous different ways, and
it's crazy. It's crazy. What I will say though is that the overall narrative of not being able to play with your friends, it's not really true.
Yeah.
The stuff you're hearing all over Twitter and stuff like that. Who said it is?
I said I agree with you.
Exactly. I mean, it is so easy to play with your friends. And as we have been doing all weekend, getting on Discord, putting our headsets on and just saying, okay, join me now, and we're all playing together. Now, the caveat is that you're not necessarily going to be on the same team.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I've got to a point now where that's just totally not a problem. If I'm playing with my friends, sometimes we're on the same team, sometimes he's on the other team. And for me, I really like that.
Yeah.
And in most games, I don't think that would be acceptable. In Splatoon, I have a little bit more of a relaxed approach to how I'm playing. I'm not getting insanely pissed off. So when James is on the other team, I'm thinking, I'm going to take you on now. And there's a bit of like trash talking and back and forth going on.
I did sort of like that.
And then when we're on the same team, we're working as a team again. But do you think we played last night, Matt, and it was exactly like that, wasn't it?
Do you think that's also because of the short round times and everything as well? That's what makes it perfect, really. Because it's like, I mean, at the moment, I've played quite a bit of it, like online. I've played some with you. I played some with other people that I kind of know. But sometimes I don't even really care if it's people I know I'm playing against or not, because it's just really fun. Like to just play online and just to play for because each round is 2 minutes and.
3.
I'm not really that bothered about the communication aspect so much because it's such a short time. It's
and I do want to get into the tactics and stuff, and that's where the longevity comes in with that game. When you can get into that sort of, okay, we know what we're doing now, we're going to take it a little bit more seriously than we normally do. But I think the other thing that makes it not feel as bad, it is the shorter round lengths, but there's also the fact that it's not consistent. So if you're on the other team, you're not going to be on the other team 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get to that point where you just think, fucking, why am I playing against you again? We just want to be on the same team. It flicks it back and forth pretty evenly. It's, if you want to play with your friend, the fear was going into it, what everyone was saying on Thursday when all this stuff was coming out about how the app works and how the game works, the fear was that we were all going to buy it Friday and we wouldn't be able to play together. And that's just simply not true. We all do play together. Sometimes we're against each other, but it doesn't really bother me in this game, to be honest with you. I still had a lot of fun. Just playing alongside you guys. Right.
It was really interesting. Sorry, I tell you about to move on. But one last bit. Obviously, because I was one of the first, because I was, I had a review copy and then got the app, and then once I realised how all this worked and what options were available to people come release day, I sort of did a string of tweets, which basically ended with, long shot is, if you want to team up with your mates and just take on strangers, you can't. And the replies I got to that were interesting.
What sort of replies were you getting?
Just there was a lot of just sort of grim acceptance, we knew this was coming, not really surprised. But people making excuses for it.
How are they making excuses for it?
Well, people were just but it's again just the Nintendo don't want paedophiles grooming kids thing, and it's what's that got to do with this? That's not a thing. And then again, and giving out the sort of the game balance argument. But then some people just flat out saying I was wrong That was the best bit. Like, people were like, well, no, I played Splatfest and let you just join people. So, I know. I played Splatfest as well. I know it was an option in Splatfest. It's not here.
Name and
until
shame,
you
sure.
until you unlock League Battle. Just people just weren't having it. It was really weird.
Just before we get onto the game, I played loads of single player because I've been busy the last few days, but I did play with you last night, Dave. And when you're like, oh, yeah, let's play Splatoon, I suddenly had to think, hang on, what do I use? Like, so there was like a bit of, I can't just put my headset on and play. Like, but having said that, I did just do that, and I was really happy with the fact I could just plug my Turtle Beach X42s into my phone and go on Discord, and it worked. So for me, there's been no issue at all in terms of getting stuff that works. But if I didn't have those, it would have been a bit more of a nightmare, I think. But
there's still that problem with Discord, isn't there, where the headsets don't. There's still some issues there. I had it again. James had it again. Yeah. Where it would just like cut out.
So is that just Bluetooth, or just Bluetooth when the screen goes off, or what?
It's not just Bluetooth, Matt. It does it also with wired ones sometimes as well. It's like sometimes, on my phone, like sometimes when the screen goes off, it cuts out the audio. Sometimes it doesn't, and it doesn't matter whether it's Bluetooth ones or wired. It just happens. It's odd.
But yeah, it's
been fine for me on Android.
I could just plug my headset in and it worked, and the mic worked, and it sounded great. But we went Discord, so it was definitely easier already. Because we have been using Discord, for the podcast for ages, so we know how it works. If you didn't, that's like a whole other thing you've got to download and work out how Discord works. And
that's true, yeah, because Discord is. Like, if you went into Discord thinking it's just like Skype and I'll just add my mates and then we'll all just get in a call together, it's not quite that simple. That said, Matt, do you want to plug our Discord Splatoon 2 room?
So if you go to twitter.com/computergamepod, we've pinned a tweet which has a link to our Discord. There should also be a link to the Discord, or at least a URL for the Discord in the show notes of this podcast. We've hopefully updated that. And basically we've created a Splatoon 2 channel in there, so you can go in there, you can talk just Splatoon 2. There's also a Splatoon 2 voice channel. So that's a good place to go if you just want to do like voice chat with other people that are in the Discord. We've got like 250 plus members now, and I went in the other day and had like 200 odd messages just because I hadn't been in it in like half an hour or so. So there's tons of people in there chatting all day every day. So if you want some people to play Splatoon with, or any other games, everyone's obviously talking about Destiny and whatnot in September, but if you fancy getting involved, the link is on our Twitter profile right now.
And I suppose, see how busy it gets, but I suppose you could just create like multiple voice channels, couldn't you, if people want to split off into different games or whatever.
Yeah. I'm thinking about just creating different channels in our Discord for the various games, and then when they come out, we just jump in that. And
the thing is, going back to the app though, do you think is there anything they're going to be able to do to be able to get people to actually use it now, or is that just gone now?
I was
surely they're going to update
thinking about.
But it's Nintendo.
Now everyone's got like alternative solutions that are like working fine for them.
Yeah, but they're not going to give up on it, are they? They are going to slowly, hopefully, update it, and maybe at one point we'll all try it again, and maybe it'll work, and maybe we'll be the easier option. But for now, we'll
what worries me is if their approach to people not using it is to just force us to, and if like this becomes like the only way to join friends in online games. I don't think they would be that stupid, but then look at where we are now. So I don't know.
I think that the way that Mario Kart works online, and the way it's very similar to the way that Splatoon works online. In that you click your friend's name and you hit join, and it works really well. But I think for them to get the Switch up to standard with how we expect online consoles to work, I don't think it's possible. I genuinely don't think it's possible to get it anywhere near that. I think it needs to be on the system rather than on the phone.
They could still do that though if they wanted to.
Yeah, but then they have to completely rewrite the way that you invite people to games and stuff like that, because there's no invite system other than on the console. But even then, it's a bit. Is there an invite to game option?
Not in. Well, not outside of a. No, I don't.
So in Splatoon 2, when you go to like online lounge, the first thing you see is just like an overlay on the Switch over the game, right? So theoretically, that could be anything. That could still come up. At the end of the day, we
don't know enough about this, do we?
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, we've seen major changes within firmware in consoles, so it can be done. It's just a ton of work. It's just whether or not they're willing to do it, I guess.
We haven't seen that with Nintendo consoles, have we?
They're generally pretty
redesign, like the OS or anything.
Yeah. So
equally, a problem that's been cropping up with the Switch over Splatoon weekend is I've seen a lot of people saying, a good few of my friends have got this, so we all got together and set up local play, and it just doesn't connect. And it reminded me of when Matt was telling us when he tried to do exactly that with Mario Kart, and it just kept dropping out. Does this console work in local play? Because
I don't know. Has anyone
from the reports I've seen, it fucking doesn't.
Well, because what I don't get is we all sat and played Mario Kart at that event, right? So how was that networked?
Well, it must have been wired, surely.
But then how is that even? I guess if they were all dev units or whatever, then that that was the thing.
They were all connected. Like, they're the big thick cable coming out the bottom of it.
Oh,
and we don't know where that was.
I assumed that was just
USB
power.
cable.
Yeah.
It could have been just power, but it didn't have to.
Are you guys not using your Ethernet
USB?
port? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm connecting straight to my router.
I don't know. I don't even think that deserved a trumpet, Matt.
We've got to trumpet noises.
The trumpet. That is a big problem for me.
Yeah.
Because one of the selling points for Rocket League on the Switch was that, hey, I could just pop out my Switch, and if my mate's got Rocket League as well, we can have a couple of games together. That's fun, isn't it? But if the fucking thing doesn't hold a connection, that might be a bigger problem. You know what I mean? At least with online we can get it working.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people complaining about getting Splatoon working. I've heard, stories that Matt's told me about him trying to get games of Mario Kart working, and that shit was plastered all over the advertising when they were showing the console off, and to hear that isn't working is fucking worrying.
It got so bad in Mario Kart that we basically stopped bothering. And it wasn't that I was miles away in the office. I would literally sit almost like knee to knee to the other three people who were trying to play, and it wouldn't connect or wouldn't see the rooms. And maybe they'll say, it could be the interference. But obviously in that scenario, we're not going to turn everyone's computers off. I mean, maybe if you're in like a room with no other machines and you're next to each other, maybe we'd be fine. But
like a basketball court.
Yeah, or like a rooftop party. But for us in the office, it was so bad. We're like, I just can't be bothered with it. And it's just annoying. You start, you wait for it to load, it doesn't load, or the room doesn't load, you can't see each other. Yeah, it's just enough's enough. But
and to think, they've done, their consoles in terms of hooking up with each other, like their handheld consoles have been fantastic at that. I mean, the DS was fantastic at it. The 3DS has been fantastic with it. It's nuts to think that. I mean, that's basic shit for Nintendo. That's their bread and butter. And they completely... To fuck that must be... I don't know, man.
It's very odd. Very worrying for me. I've heard of people... like Andy was saying to me, like they had some games going in the bar, and that was great. Which, but if that means that in some cases it works and some it doesn't, you sort of need to know why. Like Nintendo need to actually research this and tell us what's going on, and ideally just issue. Well, yeah, ideally, issue a firmware update or something that fixes it. I just hope it is a firmware thing and not hardware, because
that is the worry, isn't it? Because if they fix that, and I haven't got it on my Switch because I bought it too early, that's going to be pretty frustrating.
I can't be that widespread, because you would have seen it blowing up on Reddit and online. I mean, I've heard loads, myself included, loads of people saying, it's annoying, this isn't working, but it wasn't like Eurogamer and those other websites saying this is a huge problem and we're waiting for a statement from Nintendo.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like the Joy-Con issues, for example.
Oh, no, definitely not. But it's definitely annoying. And it definitely puts me off trying to bother. But I'm obviously going to try for Rocket League when that comes out, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because it is, if we were planning, if we were all planning to meet up again, cool, we can play Splatoon 2 would not be on that list because there's no guarantee of it.
Yeah, probably won't work.
So,
Speaking of which, we should probably talk about the actual game.
Yeah, the thing is, Splatoon 2 is fucking brilliant.
It is.
It really is.
That's why all this hurts so much. But I talked about it last week, so you guys go for it.
Okay. I went on a bit of a journey with it. I was not going... After hearing all this stuff about the app and how bad it is and how hard it is to play with your friends, I kind of decided on Thursday that I should cancel my pre-order. And then I didn't because it already got ready for dispatch, so I couldn't cancel it. So I thought, okay, well, look, I will really give it a go this weekend. I won't sit there and think, I had a lot of ideas of what this game was going to be like, and I thought that there was a lot of buzz about it because it's Nintendo, and don't get me wrong, they've earned that. They've brought out enough games that are incredible for people to be hyped when they bring out a game, and even to some extent defend them when they're out there. I know that there's a huge still diver community, for example, and I loaded the game up and we played it the first night. We played Squid Run, which is
Salmon Run.
Every time I've said that game,
it's the fifth time this weekend.
I know, it's fucking crazy. Played Salmon Run, which is the sort of horde mode thing, which is it's a little bit more complicated than a normal horde mode. The whole idea is that you're gathering golden eggs and returning them to a base. There's waves of enemies, but there are special enemies that drop these golden eggs that you have to collect. And yeah, I mean, it was fun, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm not totally made up with this. Then there's all sorts of weird shit in the game that just slows everything down.
So
feels bizarre.
Just before we get off Salmon Run, so is there does this game drop loot or anything like that, or is it really you just finish it, you get your coins?
You unlock
like
bonuses.
Yeah.
What do you unlock? Yeah. Bonuses. What?
Bonuses.
In what
so
sense?
the more you play, the more XP you get while you're playing. You unlock bonuses, and then there's this little stall that you go to and receive all your bonuses, which tends to be money, tickets, or clothes.
Okay, is that
only,
do you only get stuff as a result of Squid Run? Salmon Run, fucking it got me saying it now. Okay, okay, but so because I haven't played that mode yet.
The tickets you can get in single player as well.
You can.
Yeah. Okay, but in terms of bonus stuff, that's just a result of Salmon Run and playing that.
By the looks of it. Right, so at the moment, there's like a polo shirt that's up for grabs, and like that is the item that you get this month.
Okay, cool.
Run. So every month there's going to be anything. Yeah, they could do with a quicker cycle on that, couldn't they?
They could do, yeah.
But this is the thing, though, because they're not running it like all the time, are they? But that's because they're running it as like an event, aren't they? Like we do.
It's every 2 days.
But it's every 2 days, which makes you wonder why they limited it to begin with, really. Like, if it's going to be that frequent, which is good.
Again, I'm going to sound insane, but that doesn't bother me either, because like, it'd just be like, when it is there,
yeah,
I'll want to play
it's
it.
Definitely
but
it's
not
what I mean.
Like playing that every time.
If it's every other day, that's what I mean. Like, it makes it such a non-issue that it's like, well, why not just make it every day?
Why bother?
It's annoying for me when yesterday I was like, I wanted to play it and it wasn't on. So.
Yeah. But we get pumped for it when you're next on. Don't worry about it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was then getting weirded out by it. Like, it's got some weird decisions in it. I have no idea. They should fire the person that dropped the frame rate of the town, like the sort of hub area, to 30 frames per second. It's so noticeable that it's actually jarring and makes me not want to move around in the town at all. The town looks a little bit better. That's it. But because of that, we're dropping down to 30 frames. It wouldn't be a problem if the whole game was 30 frames, but the rest of the game is 60. So when you go into that town, you're like, whoa, this looks really rough to move about. I don't know, it's weird. Then there's the whole, every time you turn your fucking switch on, you got to watch a 10-minute fucking explanation of
that is really irritating.
Well, it's not every time, is it? It's when you boot the game up. Like, normally
it's when you boot the game up, but when you've got a son that constantly wants to play Mario Kart.
But it's not just that. Like, it's also if you're mid-game, because not mid-game, but I played some single player, and then I must have exited back to the square, and then played that again because it just updated. I was like, yeah.
What? It played you the video? It shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So I was already playing. I went back to that square, and then I must have just caught the refreshed maps or whatever, and I was like, I had to watch it again.
Oh, that's weird, because it used to do that in Splatoon 1. It was like every single time you had to sit through it, I think. But no, this time it just sort of says, it's refreshed. And it boots you out of the room if you were with your mates, but that's another issue.
No, I mean, that happened to us last night when Dave and I was playing. It said we suddenly lost the room, as it were. And then and then it said refresh and it had the new maps. But this was literally that video cut, that cutscene of them two talking that happened.
Yeah, that's
after
what I'm saying.
It
It shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what happened to you there, but that's not the intended thing to happen. It's supposed to just come up with a notification that the battles have changed. So anyway, right, I'm going through it. I'm sort of getting it a little bit, but I'm not falling in love with it at all. That was Friday night. Saturday night, I sat and played about 3 hours worth with John, and in fact, actually, I played it most of the day as well. And when that game clicked, oh my word, did it click. It clicked so hard that a lot of the things that everyone's moaning about, I'm either defending or I'm just not bothered by it anymore.
Full Nintendo Defense Force over here.
Big time. I have put probably about 13 hours into it over the weekend. And that is an insane amount of time for a game over the weekend. Like, I can't remember ever putting this amount of time into a game. And, there's certain things about the Switch and this game that make it more viable for me to put some time into. Like, I can play it in front of Harry. Joe doesn't care about me playing in front of Harry because it's just spray and paint everywhere. I can play it in handheld mode when Joe's watching the telly, so it's not that it's not one of those games that I have to wait until she goes to bed to play. So I've just been hammering it. It's just so good. Like, it's really, because it's funny because we were chatting to Matt. Matt was playing Turf Wars for the first time last night, and Matt was where I was Friday night, sort of questioning how to do everything. Like, spawning's a bit different in this than it is to other games. The weapons and what abilities they come with, all that stuff is very, very jarring. But what you soon realise is that it's got hundreds of mechanics to this game, hundreds of little bits that you have to keep in mind and you have to remember and you have to learn. But every single one of those things are really simple. So it's not like Destiny where it's got a few things you need to focus on, but it's really complicated and you've got to get the spreadsheets out and all this sort of stuff. Everything is dead simple, but it all comes together to make this, because there's so many different parts of this game.
Yeah, but Dave, when do I go to the food van to eat something to get it optimum?
Yeah, that's what Matt was saying
min-max?
to me, and I was just like, well, just get the food when you've got a ticket. It's as simple and as basic as that. And you're right, in any other game it would have been, yeah, but how long does it last? 10 matches. Yeah, but how quickly have you got to play those 10 matches? Just play those 10 matches whenever you want. You can only have one attached at a time, so you can't combine them. It doesn't get confusing. It's just very, very simple mechanics, but there are loads of them. And that's why you'll learn a part of the game and you'll never forget it because it's so simple, and then it all just comes together. Even, like getting ammo by going into a squid into the ink. Like, you're thinking, when should I be doing it? You should be doing that a lot. That's the answer. Yeah. Just whenever if there's no clean floor about or no opposing team's ink about, you're a squid. That's the answer.
Just to clarify, that wasn't one of my questions. I asked many questions, but I didn't say, when do I be a squid? No,
but like when you first started playing it, you did sort of say, oh yeah, I'm still trying to work out, I've got to remember to, be a squid and stuff like that. And of course you would. I was thinking that the first night I played it as well. I was thinking, when should I be a squid? When should I be like a little dude running around shooting? But the answer to any question you've got about Splatoon is it's fucking simple. Like, it's so basic that once you get a good understanding of the majority of the game, how things work, it just feels fantastic. And as James said, the shorter game modes, I'll have one more go. I'll have one more go. You're not going, I can't believe I've lost, because you played a 15-minute game and it's amounted to nothing. You play 3 minutes, you lose, and you go, all right, I've got to win the next one then. A bit like Rocket League. Rocket League games don't last that long. So when you get to the end, you're like, I ain't finishing on that one, I'm going to have another game. And that's how the 3 a.m. nights end up, The shooting feels fun. I'm playing personally on sticks. I'm not using motion controls. I'm finding myself holding my own. I'm not regretting doing that. The variety in weapons is incredible. There's so many weapons that I think I am never going to be able to use this. And then you see the benefit of them. I've been loving every minute of it, and I've put, an insane amount of hours into it already. I've barely scratched the surface of a single player, and I really want to get back on Salmon Run when it's next up. So I've been fully converted to this, and I genuinely feel like I'm going to get my £50 worth of game out of it. And if I had heard myself in the future last week, then I don't know. I wouldn't believe it, because I wasn't up for hating this game. I just didn't think I'd like it. Not anywhere near as much as I have been anyway. And I really do fucking love it. It's incredible. How about you, James? Because you were a big fan of the first one, although you didn't play it that much, mainly because of the online stuff. But how's it feel going? Because I didn't play much. I think I played like 3 or 4 rounds when you come over once, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm relatively fresh to Splatoon and everything it does. You're a little bit more experienced with it. What was it like jumping from the last one to this one?
Well, it's a bit strange, because one of the first things I did was I went into the campaign, because people had said that. I mean, I don't know where I got this idea from, but I'd heard that it was going to be like revamped, or they were going to do something with it. And I started playing it, and I really was not sure if I was still playing the same campaign from the original Splatoon, because it felt so incredibly similar, and like even like the levels and everything felt like almost exactly the same. And for a while, I really felt like the game just felt like a sort of, not, like a sequel. It felt more like it was just like a best of edition or something like that. But then I started playing the multiplayer again and just really fell in love again. And it's amazing. I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm one of those people that I fell out of love with like competitive shooters like quite a long time ago. Like I haven't been into them for like a long time, because I've just found it, I don't know, I just find them a bit annoying, or just, it's just too much effort. I don't know. But for some reason, Splatoon 2, like, I really, really like playing against people. It's just because the rounds are really short, so it really fits in really well with whatever I'm doing, because I've got like the kids around and stuff like that. Like you said, I can play this in front of the kids as well, and it doesn't matter. And that's kind of nice. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just having a huge amount of fun with it. It's better than I was expecting it to be, like, to be honest. I mean, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did on the Wii U, even though I know that it's not significantly different. Part of it is the fact that you can sort of just take it anywhere, and, the usual Switch, stuff. And it's great. Really, really great. I mean, it's really got that sort of like just one more go thing as well, which is the other thing I love about it. It's like, because the rounds are short, you just think, I'm just going to just have another one. And like you said, whenever you're playing, it mixes up the teams every time, so you never feel like, I've never got to that thing which I usually get to with first-person shooters, which is really irritating, where you get on like a losing streak or whatever, and then you're in a team and it's just continuous loss after continuous loss, because I'm not that great at playing it. Whereas with this, because they mix things up, I haven't experienced that. It's sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's always fun. It's a really brilliant
really
game.
Common, I find, to like, I'll be playing a game and there'll be like one guy on the other team who's a total fucking dick, and I absolutely despise him, and he kills me about 10 times, and I basically want to strangle him, and then the next round it's like, he's on my team now. Good.
Yeah, that's happened quite a few times actually. Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Salmon Run is also, that was also really great. I mean, we played that on Friday night when you were just sort of like getting into it, and I had a lot of fun with that. I mean, in the beginning, I was not that impressed, because I thought it was going to be like have a bit more sort of depth to it than it appeared to on the surface. But then as you start to progress more things start to happen, and you begin to realise that actually it's a lot more intense than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, there's loads of like random bits and pieces. Like sometimes the screen, like the sky goes dark. Like sometimes it doesn't. It's not like a regular thing. But every now and then, like the sky goes dark, and it changes things up. Like it throws either completely different enemies at you, or there are new rule sets. Like there's one where one of you is covered in flies, so all the enemies aim for you, so you're constantly trying to defend that enemy. There was one that we came across last night that I hadn't seen, which might have been the one you were trying to tell me about from Saturday night. Did you have one where you were mid-game and then suddenly the whole world was full of fog?
Yes, that's what we were trying to talk about.
Really threw me off.
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, whoa, what the fuck? And then you just see like that snake's head coming out of the fog, and you're like, holy shit! Get behind it. Yeah, really well done. And I hope I hope they can patch in like a ton of that stuff to keep it surprising. You know what I mean?
But then also, I mean, Rachel's been, like, my daughter's been playing it as well, and she's not amazing at it, but she can do it, and she's really loves it as well.
I'll tell you that. She's helping me out more than you did.
Yeah, she didn't do too bad, actually. I was pretty impressed. But,
I said I'd love that. It's a shame that, people's online names are just like Bob, Brian, Gareth. You know, if it was like proper unique usernames, to be able to track those users down and show them a picture of Rachel or Elliot or even Harry playing it, like in front of, like, video them killing them and then sending it to them, that would just be too good.
See, I had that because I was playing with CJ from the Player One podcast, and I think his daughter was playing, and she killed me like twice. And I know she's a lot younger than I am, and it was kind of embarrassing, but she's well. I bet what's his name, CJ? I bet he's happy that voice comms don't exist on the Switch. Just hearing a British, you know, some 40-something screaming at her I'm not
down.
40. That's also not true. That's
well, I don't know. If you think about it, you're probably 40.
I'm heading that way, but it's not happened yet, so just
40 odd.
Leave it.
Let's just say 40 odd.
Leave it. Okay.
40 plus.
40 tops.
Oh, right, it's like birth certificates are public record, aren't they?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we've already established that he was 20 in the 80s, so...
Exactly. Can someone try and find James Farley's birth certificate? I know you guys are all on the internet and that, and you know how to do these things. Someone try and find James Farley's birth certificate, because, you know, he's got a track record for lying about birthdays. So
That's true.
That's not fair.
That's where he got the idea. He doesn't even know when his own birthday is.
no,
Well, no one
and
cares. It doesn't matter.
He knew when his daughter's birthday was and just fucking lied about it.
There was a family
tradition
reasons
at
for
that
that.
point.
There was really good reasons for that. It was for family unity. It was fun.
Family unity. Yeah, well, it's for family unity that you've lied about your own birthday as
And it
well,
was
because
more
if Chen
convenient
finds
at
out
the
how
time.
old you really are, she's off, mate.
She's
Okay.
seen the birth certificate, but anyway, go on.
Okay. Okay. Matt, you've played it probably the least out of the four of us.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Good game, innit? The first time I played online was actually last night. Up to then, I've played probably like only 3 or 4 hours, but I've mostly been playing single player, just in like 5 minutes here and there, and I've been really, really enjoying it actually. So again, I know loads of people rave about the multiplayer, and I really had a chance to play much of that. But what I played last night and a little bit today, a little bit tonight, it's really, really good fun. But single player, I'm really surprised that I'm going for. What's the single player mode actually called? Does it have a name?
No, I don't
Does,
think so.
and I've forgotten what it is.
Because I looked on the I looked on the menu. It didn't seem to have a name. It's just whatever. Regardless, the single player mode is really fun, and going through the stages. And I've been making sure I collect both that piece of machinery, whatever it is, and the scroll for each one. And and those are also really quick. And so my train ride to work is like 15 minutes, so I can get one, possibly sometimes 2 of them done on the way to work, which is really cool. Because I went, I was on train the other day and I texted you guys saying, what can I do offline? Because everything I tried to do, it said connecting online and I couldn't do it. So I for some reason I had hoped or thought that I could do more multiplayer stuff on my own, maybe with bots or with something else, but no, I could just do it single player, but I found that really fun. Multiplayer wise, I'm still totally trying to get my head around all the mechanics, and I believe you're probably right, Dave. It's not the complexity of the mechanics; it's just the volume of it and loads of things. I hadn't played the original game, so it feels like a lot of new things and trying to work out how things are working.
It's not complicated though. It's really
No,
simple.
but if you don't
I'm just
know
saying there's
anything,
lots of
James,
things. Yeah, like
the
I didn't
game
know.
Say
doesn't
that,
do-
James. Have you got into washing abilities off your gear yet?
Yeah, I saw that. That's one of the other options. Yeah, I know, but it's not. I think because I felt like when we talked about this, Matt, it's always felt like you thought that this is like as deep as like Destiny or something.
I'd never
and
thought
really
that
not.
once. I just wanted. I didn't know yesterday when I played with Dave. He's like, oh, by the way, you can when you die, you can actually like go to the map and then see where I am, and then press up or down, and you'll and then press A or B, whatever it is, when you respawn, you can jump to me. I mean, I didn't know about that because it doesn't explain that. And there's lots of little things like that, and I wasn't sure. Okay, how do I get a ticket? Because I want to buy food from the food van, and Dave said, "Oh, it's a single player mode and whatever." I mean,
you were talking as if it was a little bit more complicated than you were. However,
that's how I like to play games.
It is. You know, however, Matt, I'm not blaming you for that because you didn't know about it, and I was going through the same shit as you were when I first booted it up. I was like, right, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing with this stuff? It's just the difference is the answer is very, very simple. Like, that's what you do with that. You know, that's what you do with it. It's not, oh, you could do this and then you've got to do that and upgrade this and the best time to activate this is at this time. There's none of that level of stuff. And I'm not saying that this Destiny is too complicated because I love the way Destiny does it as well. It's just very easy to learn all the little bits and pieces that put this game together.
Yeah, I still think there is probably a bit of complexity beneath servers, which is quite cool to see. You know, with the various like bits of clothing you can get and those abilities and how they mix with the abilities of your specials and of your weapons. I bet it's
but you can just re-roll all that. You can re-roll all that stuff anyway, and you can add whatever ability you want. If you use what have you got to use to do that? There is an item.
So when there's a Splatfest, a proper one that isn't pre-launch, depending on how much you contribute, you'll get items from. This is assuming it works the same as the first game. You get items from that which allow you to add slots to your gear. And then also the drinks vouchers you get for Krusty Sean's van. You can drink, like, different drinks will then give you an increased chance of getting certain abilities when you next level up a piece of gear. So,
can you switch out? So if you've got a gun or you want to try a gun out, but you don't like the special link to it, can you switch that out anyway?
No, this was how with the first game. They were like, oh, guys, we've added a new gun. And it would be an old gun, but with different abilities attached to it.
Yeah.
Which is fine because in a roundabout sort of way, you'll end up getting what you want. Probably it's just a bit weird to call it a new weapon.
It's a balancing thing, though, isn't it? I think why they've done that. Because
they don't want anyone figuring out like massively overpowered builds and stuff with
I can't see myself moving from my current setup. So currently, I'm using the assault rifle. What is it? The splatter shot.
Yeah. What level have you got to be to get that?
That's one of the first
early
ones.
On, I think 5 or 6.
Okay.
But you level up to about 8 very, very quickly, and then it really slows down from there.
Yeah.
So I'm level 12 now, I think, and it feels like it's taking a long time to get to the next level. But yeah, I use a splatter shot with that sort of jetpack blaster thing.
I go back and forth on that ability. Some maps I really like it because if your team has pushed to a point where, you know, the way to carry on is like there'll be one specific tiny ramp that's kind of out of the way, but otherwise it's like a vertical, you know, it's like everything's above you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That ability is amazing because then you just jam that on and then you can just go over the wall and then just start blasting bits. Not that you probably won't kill anyone with it, but you'll piss off the enemy and it'll slow them down as they sort of take time to like repair the bits that you fucked up. But yeah, like actually using it in the thick of a battle, I tend to just get shot. I don't think it's really for that, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it is for pushing forward and fucking up some of their side, but it's also good if there's a huge area full of their colour, because not only are you firing out these grenades that leave these huge splatter marks of your colour, it's also spraying down paint from above and leaving a massive trail. And also, if there are quite a few enemies ahead of you, say there's like 2 or 3, if you activate that, just fly over them. And it kills them. Like, that's a really good tactic, a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, fair few people in the games we were playing last night were using that, and it was quite overwhelming when I saw that guy, or you know, you and other people using that. I mean, I haven't unlocked that ability yet, but it looks quite cool. And just the fact you can quickly buzz around the map, it looks quite useful.
It's
better
but
as
the
well.
problem is you can't just buzz around the map because when the ability ends, you fly back to where you started.
Well, yeah, it's the interesting thing about that. If you've got good teammates, so it shows everyone a marker of where you'll return to when it runs out. So good teammates will
so it's not a jetpack?
Yeah, it's a jetpack, but then once it runs out, it resets you to where you activated it.
Oh, that's weird. Oh,
So
I
it's
thought it was
not
like a way
weird,
of travelling as well.
It's a really good way of limiting what that can do. Otherwise, you could just fly behind enemy lines and then just completely ruin it. It's like it would be way too powerful.
Yeah.
So it puts you back to where you were, and then sometimes, Sean, I found that to be exceptionally good.
Yeah.
Because when I'm returning back to where I was, sometimes it's been coated in someone else's ink, and they don't expect someone to just fly into the middle of nowhere, into the middle of their big ink patch, and you just totally take them by surprise.
So is it marked on the map for everyone where that person will return to?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was. I'm not sure.
Possible. I don't. I've
well, let's
not
ask
seen
James.
it.
He's probably playing now. James?
What? I'm not playing now.
Just a
Is
little
that
test
why you
there.
didn't know what question you were being asked?
Just a little test. Yeah, so in terms of controls, I tried the motion controls because it's just a little bit. I did play. It was clear that I could very quickly aim, but I basically it feels like I need to invert a stick, but you can't invert the vertical axis. I'm not sure it's Y or X, but you can invert the one that moves from left to right. But in when you use the motion controls, you can't invert the vertical one, and that's one I don't use inverted controls normally, but for whatever reason, when I tried with motion, it felt like I needed to invert that, and I couldn't. So I've gone back to the standard controls.
That sounds mad to me, but
Same
I mean,
here.
it's mad for me because I don't invert controls, but it just something wasn't quite clicking. Maybe I need to try it more, but now I've gone back to regular controls. I'm enjoying the game much, much more. Maybe I'll go back later on when I've understood the game and the mechanics and how it works a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I went straight off of it because I could not get my head around because I was playing in handheld mode when I was doing the tutorial, and tilting the full device to aim. Obviously the screen goes with it. Did not feel right to me, and I thought, well, I don't want to flip between two play styles either. So,
because I feel like they know that's a thing because you can set the controls independent, can't you? So
you can just go
and docked.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. They definitely knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
But then John's been playing full motion controls. He says it's just not an issue.
Yeah, same. I
he's
really
not a
like
problem.
motion controls in this now. I never did in the previous game. I don't know if they've done anything different to them, or maybe I'm just a bit used to it because it's been eased in with Zelda and stuff. But yeah, no, I really like it.
What's your weapon setup, Sean?
So I was using the splat shot, occasionally flicking back to the splat shot junior, the one you start with, because I actually really like that. And if you're
what's the difference between the two?
So the junior basically it's like higher rate of fire, but a bit less damage and a bit less range.
Right, okay.
So it's just really good for like really quickly filling small areas and then zooming around. And the special ability on that ink armor, like initially that I didn't really get that, but it makes a lot of sense. It just basically protects everyone in your team from one hit, which you're getting, if someone's like firing a machine gun at you, that's not much use. But if you know someone's about to drop a super, it's really useful because, like, if someone, that one where you jump in the air and then smash down on the ground, that's one hit. So if two of your teammates are there, you can just go bang ink armor and they're safe. So that's really smart.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was all about because there was a few games that I've played where suddenly I had this ink armor.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, that must be it.
Yeah. But also the Aerospray MG is very good.
That's my weapon of choice.
It's just in terms of covering terrain that I haven't found anything else that matches it. Like I'm regularly scoring like 1,200, 300 with it.
The
per game.
Aerospray MG, what sort of thing is that?
So it's another like sort of machine gun type one, but it's similar to the splatter shot, but it's just slightly higher rate of fire and like a slightly wider spread on it.
Yeah.
So
also, it feels like the tank's bigger as well. Like it seems
Yes,
to last a
that's
lot
right.
longer
Yeah.
than the others.
So it's really good for covering terrain. I find it a bit shit when I'm actually fighting people because you can be aiming at someone and and half the ink is like flying either side of them. So it's a bit of a trade-off. But yeah, like if you're just going for inking territory, it's pretty much
Speaking
unbeatable.
of weapons, it's annoying as fuck having to not being able to change your loadout, but having to exit out, go to the shop to change and get a new weapon and go back in. And
Well, you don't have to
don't
do
have
that.
to go to the shop, but you've got to do it through the menus, and that is easily the worst decision in the game.
Best part,
Sorry?
apparently, once you get to league battles where you can join up with your mates, apparently you can change your loadout in the lobby.
Oh, for
So
fuck's sake!
the functionality is
Hang
there.
on. Have they done this again for a reason?
I think it's another balance thing.
Yeah, but also it's to stop. It's so that when you start games, it's like it all starts quickly rather than people just messing around, spending ages.
It doesn't start quickly though.
it's slow as fuck.
And they could still give you 10 seconds, just see what everyone's picking and switch around. Like,
Sorry, James, I thought you were
that.
going to say, is it because of paedophiles? Because they're going to use the guns to spell out a message? Is that what they're going to do?
The whole thing of going out and then it bringing all the names together and then going back in, that takes way too long.
Yeah.
And like you just want to jump straight back in. Sometimes it's a lot quicker, but the majority of the times I've found that I've been waiting there for quite a while, and I just think, just let me press start and change my weapon while that's going on.
And now that we know that the functionality is in there, it's not like it's a technical hurdle for any reason.
No, and again, if they're worried about people picked it, like 4 people getting together and picking an excellent combination of different types of players, we'll keep hiding that then until the game launches, but just let me switch weapons in that little lobby bit. Fine. Then I don't know what other people are picking, and I can switch and change and try, because at the moment I can't see me changing my loadout because it's such a ball ache to go and change my loadout that I don't want to just keep switching. I did it once last night where I switched to the dual pistols, and then I just thought, no, I'll go back to my standard one. And the process was just excruciating.
One thing that might encourage you to try new weapons, have you noticed each weapon has that like rating where it starts off as like raw or something?
I've just started working that out. Raw,
So
so
basically, it's like every win it goes up by 1, every loss it goes down by half, something like that. Basically, you can get that to 10, you get like a massive experience point bonus. So that's worth knowing.
I think I might have got that. Mine's like fresh level 2, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, get that to 10, and then you'll get like 4,500 experience or something.
Cool. So okay, James, what did you talk about your loadout yet?
You
did. You're the Aerospray MG,
Aerospray.
aren't you?
Yeah. What special are you using?
It uses that one that it's like bombs that like just go along the ground.
The curlers.
Yeah, where you get unlimited bombs.
See that is shit.
Yeah,
I hate it.
It's not that great. I mean, I'd rather it was the what's it called? Is it the Tenta launcher or whatever it is?
Which one's
That's
that?
the one I like.
The rockets. Or the
The
missiles,
rockets is the one. I like that one, but it doesn't combine.
Yeah, but I've been killed by those curlers so many times. It's unreal.
Yeah.
You just once you start hearing them, you're like, oh fuck, and then they're just bouncing all around you, and you're done.
Well, it is fun to like when you see lots of people down in one bit, and then just like chucking loads of them down there, and then seeing the panic is quite good.
Yeah.
I think the ground slam one's got to be my favourite, just because it's so good just as a panic button. Like if you think you're about to lose a fight, and you just slam into the ground and kill everyone. That's so useful and just requires very little thought, I think.
I can't wait for them to start releasing a lot more clothes and bits and pieces to buy, because right now I'm on 92,000 coins.
Really? Oh man, I've been spending all of mine. I'm skint.
Yeah, but I don't really there's no incentive to just buy loads of things.
Yeah, but I've just been spending it all on weapons. Like, just buy all the weapons as soon as they come available. I buy a new one to see what it's like.
Yeah, but right now I'm so happy with my loadout that I can't even be bothered to go and buy new weapons. I want to get some cool gear, but it feels like there should be more customizable stuff, I guess. Like, I've got some headphones on my head at the moment, but I want headphones and a cap. and I can't do that. I've only got my headphones. But then I suppose because they're linked to abilities, you can't just sling loads of stuff out there, can you?
Yeah, and like I said, I've been leveling up tons of items of clothing just because I think this whole thing of washing out abilities and putting them onto other bits of gear is going to become like way important later on. But then that costs money to do as well, which is a bit of a barrier. But yeah,
it's weird. There's so many things, so many negatives I could say about Splatoon 2. A lot of them have been said by many people already, but somehow the game and the basic idea of it not about being most kills is about spraying the most in your team's colour. The idea that you can sink into the ink and use that as cover, but also use it to gain ammo, it shines through, and all of that stuff that I hate about the game, and all of the terrible decisions that are totally unexcusable, it drifts away, and it's not that you think it's acceptable now and you put up with it, it's that you just don't care about that shit anymore. You don't get angry about it anymore. And don't get me wrong, it took me, I say a little while, it only really took me a day, but it did take me a little while to get over that stupid shit and to stop saying, fuck's sake, Nintendo, what are you doing? To just settling down and thinking, I can't stop playing this fucking game. And every time I jump in, I have a fucking blast. Yeah,
See, I know what you mean, but to me, there's still this sense that the game deserves better. The game's good enough and intricate enough. It
does, because the fear is that it's going to happen. That it's going to happen here, the same that happened on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Granted, more people are interested in the Switch at this point. It looks like it's going to sell pretty well, but you want it now to become this big yearly thing that Nintendo go, actually, this is worth, people are into this, let's put more money into keeping the content fresh and getting as much stuff out there as possible, because it benefits all of us.
They got another 2 years, haven't they? They said they were going to support it for content.
Yeah, I mean, all they said was 2 years of Splatfests, but I assume that means other stuff as well.
Yeah, how well supported was the one on Wii U, considering...
Really well. It was basically a different game within 6 months. It was they added new modes, new maps, new items, new weapons. It was just constant.
Did they release any big content updates? Or was it just,
no, it was properly drip fed. It was literally every month here's a new map and a couple of weapons and stuff. It was very odd.
I've got a couple of questions. One, other than Turf War, what are the other game modes like? I know you mentioned on the last show there's like a lot of Overwatch style payload. Are any of them even worth playing, or is it really just
man? So tower control, that's the sort of payload-esque one. That is so fucking good. Just because, I was saying last week, it's rather than it just being one team trying to get the payload to the other, the other end, it starts in the middle and both teams are trying to push it into the other team's base, which is just fucking perfect. It's so much fun. There's the Rainmaker, which is probably my least favourite one, where it's basically there's this fish called the Rainmaker, which is this super powerful weapon, which you've got to grab and take that into the enemy base. It's fine. It's just nowhere near as good as tower control for me.
That's what the pros. But I've been watching a load of pro Splatoon players on YouTube, and that seemed to be the mode of choice for those.
Yeah, right.
Rainmaker, yeah.
But yeah, then the splat zones where it'll just be it'll just randomly sort of pick a spot of the map, and then both teams have to fight for control of that, and then after a timer runs out, whoever controls it wins. And then it goes, then another point, and then another point, and just keeps cycling around. So it's just focusing the battle on tiny little bits of the map. That's really cool as well.
Am I mad in thinking that there should also be a 4-player, free-for-all mode?
Would that work?
4 different colours.
In terms of, I don't know, would that work in terms of, surely we just wouldn't really... I mean, what would be the goal? Inking more territory than anywhere else? Or
yeah.
So it'd just have to be deathmatch, wouldn't it? You couldn't... The inking stuff wouldn't work.
Why not?
I just feel it'd be too divided. You'd be so hampered. Normally it's you and a bunch of teammates versus another team. So you've got other people constantly inking areas you might not have been to, which allows you to get around quite a lot. Whereas if it's just you versus essentially 3 other people with 3 different colours of ink all fucking you up. I just feel like
4
you wouldn't get much movement out of it.
There's no way you'd be able to like, consolidate an area, is there?
Yeah. You just lose everything as soon as you take it. Like, it'd be impossible to hold anywhere, I think. I don't know, maybe if the maps were really small, that would make sense.
No, I'd say the map's got to be pretty big.
You reckon?
Would then just be you painting in a corner.
Yeah. And then occasionally people meeting up at like the border of their...
Yeah, but then completely ruining the work that you've done. I don't know. I would give it a go, Nintendo. I would give it a go.
James, have you used any of the amiibos that in inverted commas are your children's amiibo?
No, because I don't have any Splatoon ones.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yet.
Yeah. You can only use...
I mean, they don't have any Splatoon ones. She slipped up there.
Yeah. Yeah. You can use regular
Is that James'
amiibos.
trumpet sound? Is that his version of the trumpet sound?
Cool.
Yeah.
You can use regular amiibos as well, but to save like weapon loadouts and stuff. If you can be bothered.
Is that the only thing
that's
they do?
right, yeah.
You can save weapon loadouts. Or do they give me special stuff if I got one?
I don't think so, but the actual Splatoon ones do. Like you get like gear and stuff, I think, or costumes, and I don't know.
Don't they unlock weird games in that little arcade bit or something?
They might do that. That was one thing that I did. I was saying to Sean, I missed from this is that in the first game, when you were between rounds and it was like loading or whatever, there was like a mini game that you could play where you just had to like climb to the top of a screen by like sort of bouncing. And that's gone. It's a bit of a shame because that was kind of not bad actually while you were waiting for the round to start.
John.
I was going to say you can mess around with the music in the lobby.
Yeah.
With the sticks and buttons and stuff. That's surprisingly
I know we've been
fun.
talking about this game for probably about an hour now, but is the town likely to get bigger, or has that ever likely to change, or is that basically it?
That'll basically be it. Yeah. But did you see it during Splatfest? I can't remember.
Yeah, they'll do. I think for events they'll probably do stuff to it because that's what they did. Yeah, with Splatfest it was like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, whenever Splatfest happens, it's fucking brilliant.
I mean, the game has sold pretty well, isn't it? Because it's second behind Crash Bandicoot, which is
well, who's going to topple that?
That's number
beast?
1 again.
Yeah.
Yo, did you not see that today?
No,
word.
I've muted all Crash Bandicoot mentions. I can't.
Yeah, that game.
Donald Trump,
it's the game
Twin
that
Peaks,
keeps on giving.
Crash Bandicoot.
The trifecta of twats.
Okay, that's enough Splatoon.
I've just seen how long we've been recording for. Fuck me.
Good game.
Problem is, I'm probably going to be talking about this for a while. I hope it has legs because I'm absolutely loving it at the moment and absolutely hammering it. I hope I continue to do that.
I just hope it
always
has legs until Destiny 2 comes out. Then
that's a good point. That's a good point. Then it's going to see.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of game, isn't it? And like, I don't see why they couldn't coexist. You know, in terms of
because
time.
Destiny's just going to
Destiny's
take
life,
up
James.
all of my time.
Think about it, Dave. Like you said, this weekend, right? You played it during the day, and you could play it like when Harry's around and stuff like that. You're not going to do that with Destiny, are you?
No, but are we looking at loadouts and the meta and spreadsheets then?
Yeah, Matt's right, and I will probably do just patrol missions and shit because they're not as intense. Well, maybe I don't know.
Can't play it in the toilet though, can you?
No, you cannot.
Turn it.
Just before I move on, James, have you played much of single player?
Of what? Of Splatoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played. I'm up to the third area, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought the second area was a bit dull, mainly down to the weapons that it was forcing you to use or whatever.
Is that are you up to the third area after getting all the scrolls and all the machine parts?
Yeah. Why?
Oh, nice. Well, no, I mean that's good. Well done.
Do you think it's as good as a Titanfall single player?
I don't know. I mean, it seems to be equally as short, so I don't know.
I was going to go on, James. Say it's better. Fucking day.
It's not better, and you're immensely positive
ideas
about how much you love this game. And let's face it, imagine if I'd have come on and said, "Oh yeah, it's all right. It's not as good as you're saying it is, just based on that single player." Come on, mate. You can see just trying to explain my frustration.
Listen, I've already admitted that. I said from what I've played. I didn't say that the game's bad. But again, you're doing the Dishonored thing again. It's like,
can we not do this?
No, I mean,
imagine if you shut up, Sean. Imagine if you, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna soon enough, James. I'm going to hold you on citizen's arrest. So please put your hands on the car and get ready to die. Okay.
Is that all? Was that everything from what we've been playing? Have you not played any Heavy Rain this week at all, James?
I've played none.
What are you
doing?
I started playing it the other night, and then my internet kind of crapped out, and so I didn't do it. And then I don't know. I just started playing Splatoon, and I just couldn't bring myself to play Heavy Rain after that.
Our YouTube subs are not growing.
Yeah, please get back on there this week. I want to see another one.
What do you mean? You're not going to quit now?
No, I will do it. It's just I've got to psych myself up to do it now because it's I don't know.
Pressure. Look at him.
Yeah.
The pressure. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get the emails and tweets and get out of here.
All right, the first email is from Lee Knight, and he says, "Evening, chaps. Why do YouTubers or games media people online seemingly constantly complain over the bad or negative comments they receive on social media? Abuse aside, of course. It really irritates me. If you put yourself out there, you must realise that you have to be open to criticism or negative feedback. There is no place for abuse. That said. Second question, what's your most completed game ever? Mine is Cast of Illusion on the Sega Mega Drive.
The first question is that we're all human and sometimes we don't like it when people being negative towards us.
I don't think I've ever seen... I've only ever seen games media people do this when the people offering criticism are being fucking thick. And then it's just like, Jesus, look at this. I've never seen anyone be like, oh, look at this criticism I got. Isn't this person bad? And I'm pretty sure everyone I know is too classy to do that.
Me and Matt could tell you something about that after the show.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I think, like, most people I know in games media basically, like, they're aware that when you have a lot of followers, it's really not cool to just like, look at this dickhead, because everyone will just pile on them, and which is not really helpful.
I think that some people take it in a different way. I mean, we've sort of got to a point now where we think, actually, the best way of dealing with these people is to explain why they're wrong in a really sarky way. An aggressive way on a podcast where they've got no right to reply. Yeah, I guess that's what that is. The most completed game, well, it was Banjo-Kazooie. I mentioned that the other day.
25 times, apparently.
25 times. I think probably more. I think I've completed it since then. I listened
back to last week's show, and that totally sounds like something you heard at school. Oh yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, 25 times, mate. My cousin's got it now, so you can't.
What do you want me to do then, Matt? Do you want me to lie and say that a different number?
No, I just find it funny.
It's a very precise number as well, though, Dave. Were you going for 25?
That's why I remember it. That's where I remember. I wasn't aiming
James,
for it, but
that's how he remembers it, so that's fine. That is okay. He's proved it because he remembers it. 25 times.
No, I don't need to prove it. I don't give a shit if you believe it or not. I'm just saying that's what happened. I mean, if you don't believe me, then fine.
25 times, complete Metal Gear Solid 25 times. Can't borrow it now. My cousin's got it, but I've got it, and I finished it 25 times.
Matt, I don't know what sort of people you know that would lie about something like that.
I'm just thinking back to school. It reminded me of the school ground comment.
Okay, you don't believe me that I've completed it. It does not bother me in the slightest. I don't know. This is the weakest of the band that you've ever come out with. You've come out with some weak band.
25 times.
This is the weakest.
25 times. Let's move on.
Next.
No, I said that. Move on, Dave.
Next game or next email?
Just move on, James. Don't listen to him.
Just anything else. Come on.
Okay, Thomas Whittle says, my wife recently looked at buying me a Nintendo Switch as a surprise gift. Not knowing much about games and wanting it on finance, she was about to buy it from Game when she decided that asking me which game I wanted would work out better than it being a surprise. Have any of you seen how much that place is charging for its Switch bundles?
Yes.
I stopped her and told her to wait till Shop 2 had stock back in. Am I alone in that I'd rather not have a Switch than give that company any money?
Well, no, I mean, they're trying to rip people off with the Switches. Wasn't there that you could only buy Splatoon 2 in a bundle or something?
It's like 480 quid for like a bundle of like games, I think. I have to check that. But yeah, that was a story going around the other day, which is kind of insane. And then somebody worked out like the discount that it was. Because, you know, like normally if you get a bundle, you're thinking, okay, the price is going to be a bit lower. And it was like £2.80 or something like that. Like, you could buy it all separately. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck Mike Ashley.
You did the right thing there.
Mind you, Shop 2 is a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, they used to be the boys and now not.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh yeah, we're not always that cheaper. Oh yeah, we don't always get stuff out early. Oh yeah, now we're also a bike shop.
Yeah, yeah, but you say that, but I got a brilliant rally a day early last week. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, they've got this weird attitude where it's like, well, you can't change which address you want things sent to.
Oh yeah, if you get
unless
a new
you've
card,
ordered from us
that is
this
so
amount of times. So why?
Yeah, every time if like my bank company suddenly sends a new card, I'm like, oh well that's fucked it, because now the next one of this card has to go to my home. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I use Simply Games now. They always deliver early. I got Splatoon a day early. They're also really great on price. Simply Games are the new shop too.
Okay.
Man, I just
Cool.
look at games like on their site. They've got like Switch, like a grey one, new, 460 quid.
What?
That's,
what do you mean?
Yeah,
what?
It's 460 quid.
Not on its own.
Yeah, it seems to be on its own. It's that's kind of insane.
James is definitely
right.
James is
believe
definitely wrong there.
I'm not like, I'll send you the link. Like you can
Don't
look at it
send
right
us
now.
the fake link,
Look,
you fake
have a
tart.
look at that, Matt. You have a look at that and see what does that price tell you?
Oh my god, he's right.
Oh, right, because, so it's not... So it's
It's
sold
not-
and fulfilled by someone else.
Oh, okay, yes, it's sold by someone else. Yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
Okay,
not
so
directly
James is
going.
definitely wrong.
it still says 460 quid, which is ridiculous.
Sold by
Yeah, I mean,
someone
that
else.
is,
It's
that is on
sold
the game
and
website.
fulfilled by you want one. You want one, and you're paying 460 quid for
Okay,
it.
there's this one though. Look, okay, here's another one.
Stop sending us game links.
Yeah, can we
No,
just
I'm
get
going
on
to
the
send
show?
you look, one last one. Okay, have a look at this one. This is fulfilled by game.
Oh, this is great podcasting. 449. But that's a massive bundle.
So 3 games and an accessory kit, and it's 450 quid.
James, you've totally fucked it.
Yeah, let's move
Next
on.
question.
I don't care. Let's just
I don't care.
It's not even bothered, guys.
see. We're at that time of the night where it's all coming out.
My name is James.
My name
know,
is
I think
James.
Just as Blomberg says, hi fellas. Just as Blomberg here.
Hi.
That is a pretty awesome name, to be honest. Sent you my first tweet the other day and thought I might as well might as well try the email as those tweets tend to be a bit small. This is my
Might
first
as
email.
well.
This is my first email to a podcast, by the way, and I'm sorry that I'm really messing up reading it. I know it's
Might
not
as
as
well.
fancy as my first email ever, but they can't be giving you all my firsts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but James seems the kind of guy who would not be happy even after winning a £1 million lottery and say something like, I guess it's nice, but I'd rather have one last week when the prize was a bit bigger.
Right, that
Definitely.
is so spot on.
Yeah.
That's something like,
This guy knows it. It's
yeah,
just bang on.
he gets James. That
blatantly.
is so
They've
bang
been
on.
putting
That's
James
not what I'd be
in the
saying.
paper
I'd just be-
with like a disgruntled face.
Yeah.
No, I'd just be spending most of the time just thinking, when are they going to take this away from me? That's what I'd be more concerned about.
No,
It's-
if it was 64 million the week before and it got 1, and then you won 1 million the week after, you'd
Well,
be
yeah, I
like,
mean, come on.
No, actually, I think even I'll be pissed off.
That would piss you off, wouldn't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
do you think game companies have noticed that the price on certain games like GTA 5, Witcher 3 and The Dying Light has not gone down much, even in sales, compared to other AAA games? But the games are still selling great and have a nice reputation and fan base behind them. What do you think they will do to replicate this, or is it just because of the games as a service thing that these games' prices are still higher?
I mean, GTA 5, it's still in the top 10. It's been in there since 1987. It's never, it wasn't even on sale in the Steam sale. It's still, a decent price. I mean, I don't know about Witcher 3.
I mean,
Witcher 3, there's like Game of the Year edition stuff, and DLC is highly rated. I'm not sure how it links to games of service specifically, but I mean, I'm sure everyone would love a game like GTA 5 where it's just never out of the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're continuing to sell despite still being 40, 50 quid. It's that they're still 40, 50 quid because they continue to sell. Like, there's just no reason to discount them.
that's what I was going to say. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
They people still buying that game at full price.
Yeah.
Until they stop buying that game at full price, they will still sell it at full price. And do you know what? Fair enough.
How does that work with Wii U games, though, Dave? Because they were
That's-
always still...
That is Nintendo's. We've heard
Black
about
magic.
that before. They don't want to devalue their
Yeah.
what a game is worth, and again, that's their decision. That was one of the. I mean, if there were a lot more sales on Wii U games, maybe the console would have benefited from that. But there's no way of telling. No way of telling, because Nintendo are never going to drop their prices, and that's why, as much as the Switch is perfect for digital gaming, I will mostly be buying their games in the physical form, because at the end of the day, if I don't like it or feel finished with it, I can probably still sell it for 40 quid.
Yeah.
Which is mad. Zelda's still going for 40 quid most places. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't have got Mario Kart digitally, thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Why would you sell
I
it, man?
probably should have, actually.
Well, you should
Thinking
swap
about
then.
it.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's swap switches.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have done that with the Xbox One. Can't do that
Well,
anymore.
it wasn't out on Xbox One.
Oh, good point. Right,
James, read the next
SMW.
one, please.
SMW says,
Who just said that? James.
Even Sean's getting pissed off now.
Even Sean's getting wound up here.
SMW says, hi guys, I keep being told that I need to own a PS4, but as someone who has no interest in Nier or Persona, I'm struggling to see why when I already have an Xbox. Post Zelda, I'm not sure how much I would enjoy Horizon Zero Dawn. Is it still worth buying one now, or shall I wait until Detroit The Last of Us 2? I definitely wouldn't wait for Detroit. I'd be after a PS4 Pro as I already have a 4K TV, so the £350 is a little harder to justify.
That's a fair point, you know. We've been banging on about, why would you get an Xbox One if you got a PS4? But then, why would you get a PS4 if you got an Xbox One? I mean, granted, I think it's the better console, but
if you've already
own an Xbox One,
yeah,
No, there's tons of games on PS4. Like Yakuza, for example, was brilliant. I mean, the thing is I was in this boat where I just had an Xbox One, and you do miss out on a lot of stuff, like particularly stuff like indie stuff and things that gets released on that doesn't get released on Xbox at all.
but Xbox has got indie stuff that's released on that and not.
I know, but
not
it's
as
also.
much though.
I think it also depends
Sorry?
on if you.
I was saying, I don't think it's anywhere near as much, is it?
No.
PS4.
And
Yeah,
it's
but
also-
there have been
tons
some bangers like iDarb and was it the Max Curse the Brotherhood, and then you've got Cuphead coming out, stuff like that. I you know.
It's true, but then also if you're interested in like Japanese games, then the PlayStation is really the place, to play those kind of things. I mean,
And the Japanese, I think that's been the other benefit with the PS4. Well, the other thing that's benefited the PS4, Japanese developed games have got. I mean, I've never really cared about where the games have come from, but it has been noticeable that recently Japanese games have taken a huge step forward.
Yeah,
I mean, you
they've been
look
amazing.
at the absolute bangers from the past few years.
Well, for the past few months, it's been non-stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, but there has been sort of like, with the likes of Bloodborne and I mean, it's been insane recently coming from Japan, and that is that's benefited the PS4 quite a bit, being an Eastern console compared to the Xbox One, and I think Western development. I don't know. There's still some good shit out there, obviously. Rocket League, Destiny, Titanfall, but I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I mean, in terms
But it's
of
also it's also the experience as well. Like in terms of, for me, once I started using the PlayStation, like the Xbox, the OS, it really highlights how awful that OS is that machine is running.
Yeah, but you ain't going to pay £350 for a better UI.
I would. It's seriously.
Yeah, but you're a very
money bags.
different person.
No,
You're
I
unique.
just would rather have a nicer experience of like playing games than you get on the Xbox, which is horrendous. I mean, every single time I switch it on, there seems to be an update for it that makes it slightly worse. It's terrible.
But yeah,
There's good games on it, no doubt, but it's also the OS is awful.
Yeah,
But in terms of whether you should buy one if you're on Xbox, yeah, I guess that's. I mean, I think it's much more superior console. It seems that a lot of the games seem to run better on PS4 and Xbox One. But yeah, if you're not interested in games like Persona or Nier or Yakuza, as James said, or Uncharted, and it is just things like Last of Us 2 and potentially Detroit, then I guess there's no need to rush out right now. But me personally, it's by far the superior console. But who knows? Whatever.
Cool. Next.
Oh, how do I pronounce his name? Okay.
I don't know, James. This is in front of you, isn't it?
Yeah, go read.
I can't
Right,
read
I'm
it
going to butcher this. Okay, this is Hakon Lingstad,
Perfect.
maybe.
That sounded pretty good.
Let's say that again.
Okay. Hi lads, let me just say, I'm not doing
Can
that,
we do a
Matt.
podcast where James, the World Cup is next year, where James has to commentate on the games from the countries that have really, really long player names on them. I'd listen to that.
Yeah.
Hi lads, let me just say I'm not finding the voice chat on Switch to be that big a deal at the moment. Not because the idea of connecting through the Nintendo Switch app isn't really fucking stupid, but because I'm using alternative solutions. That being said, communicating with friends on phone while playing does feel very 2003. What options do Nintendo have to fix this? I don't even know if the Switch has a mic input in the headphone plug. USB is a possibility, but would only work with the console docks. Could a wireless Bluetooth mic headset do the job? Anyway, sorry for getting a bit tired of the subject. I just feel like Splatoon 2 deserves the best, and players not having voice chat seems less than subpar. P.S. I hope Farley finds happiness in himself.
We all do.
No, you don't.
So it's possible that there is no capacity for a mic input in the headphone plug.
Yeah,
but
that would be insane though, because it costs next to nothing to have that ability in
it's Nintendo, isn't it? I think at this point, if Nintendo just went, all right, we're sorry, but you are going to need a Bluetooth headset, everyone would be like, fine, whatever. I'm all right.
So long as it's coming.
Yeah,
just to confirm, that port does support mics. The headphone port does.
How's anyone tested that?
Well, it says, on the official Switch spec sheet, it says audio jack for connecting commercially available headphones, microphones, or headsets.
Fucking hell! All right, okay.
Not only that, it's a completely different jack. So it'd just be about looking at what is put into it and seeing if it can accept the sort of longer. Was it? There's
3 rings or 2
longer,
rings.
It's the same size. It's got more. It's split in more places, so it's
black rings on it.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, it looks like most of it's HTML. The problem is the games that are already out for it and that I assume are coming out for it are built for a console that isn't doing the extra processing of voice chat.
But then the Vita managed it.
It's true.
Can't be that hard. I don't know.
No.
The DS mentioned it.
The DS managed it, with Metroid Prime Hunters. Yeah,
but again, it was always intended to do that. That console was always intended to do that, and there's a chance that this console was always intended not to do that. So it's not about can it handle it. It's about the games optimizing for that sort of processing power going to something else, which admittedly might not be a lot, but that would be what concerns me. Can the console cope, and the games built for it, cope with running this shit in the background while still playing a game?
Dave,
because their app can't cope with that.
Would you take like a small frame rate hit in Splatoon if it meant that you could do all that through the console instead?
It's a good question. I love how smooth Splatoon is. I don't know is the answer. It depends how noticeable it was. Okay. Next one.
Okay, Kenny. He says, "Hiya lads. Recently my 4-year-old has gone from mild curiosity to near obsession with my PS4. I feel like a hypocrite if I stopped him playing on it. He brought him a GBA, but he hates the G-pad, so he never plays it. He still loves his toys and reads and would rather play with his mates than anything, but I cannot play without him wanting to play. How do you guys balance your kids' exposure to a system, and is there any games you recommend for us both to play? Love the pod."
Joe is incredibly conscious of Harry playing too many games. Obviously, she lives with me. And she makes me feel guilty a lot of the times when I'm sticking a game on with him. So that helps. That helps me limit it a bit. But also you do, once they start going, can I play? Your fun goes. So it's kind of like, after a while you are like, come on, let's go outside and play football. So that's how I've been dealing with it. How about you, Matt? Elodie's not played that many games,
no,
has she?
I mean, cause as I said countless times on the podcast, I basically don't play games before certainly Elodie, but Jill goes to bed. So, but this weekend I had to switch out a bit for, I had to switch out a bit for Splatoon, and Elodie wanted to play a bit, and then, yeah, you're right, I was trying to play single player, and she's like, oh, can I have a go, Daddy? And I was like, yeah, okay, and then I was like, you're rubbish at this, come, just give it back. Yeah, so, but generally she doesn't really play games, mostly because I don't really play much in front of her, but, I would love to do more of that, but she's just happier playing in the garden or playing at a doll's house or whatever sort of, stuff. But, yeah, haven't played much, but I'm hoping to play more in the future, for real.
Yeah, kids get well bored well quickly, don't they? And then suddenly decide they want to just jump about the house. What was he shouting over and over again? I can't remember, just shouting the same word over and over and over again while just spinning around. I was like, okay, well, you're having a good time.
Yeah, like the other week when I must have quickly found some time to play the Destiny single player mode, and Elodie was still up. She's like, Daddy, what is this man on TV? What is this man doing? Who is that man? Oh, why is he in space? What is that man
shooting? Becoming legend, love.
Yeah, I'm becoming legend. So I think she's mildly interested, but if I ever have a TV on, she's more like, my shows now, Daddy, my shows. So, okay.
I would like to, but I wish Splatoon would just let you pick whatever ink you want to be, because it doesn't really matter, does it? Because Harry, certain colours of ink piss him off. He's banging to his colours, and if he ain't the colour that he wants to be, which is usually red or green because of Mario and Luigi, he gets fucked off.
You can choose in the options. There's a colour blindness mode which just fixes the colours to basically two colours that are good for people with all different kinds of colour blindness. So if those colours are good, according to Harry, that might be a winner.
Who knows? That is a Toin Coss these days. A coin toss
Toin
these
Coss?
days.
It's a toy. It's a coin. It's Toin Coss.
It's a title for a podcast, Matt.
That is a Toin Coss.
So when your kid asks if they can play and you're like, I don't really want you to, but okay. How much of that is you not wanting to be like realising that they are toys, but that you've conned yourself into thinking it's like a grown-up's toy? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, zero. No, it doesn't bother me at all, that.
Okay.
No, the only thing that bothers me is that sometimes it's kind of like it's a game that you really don't want to play any more of.
Yeah.
And then the other frustration comes in the fact that, we've got Forza here, which is immensely fun to play, but all I'm doing is driving out of a garage, doing a 3-point turn and going back in because he's changed his mind about what colour he wants the car. That. Or explaining to him that, sometimes you can't change the colour of a car, Harry. This is an old game. You can't just change the colour of a car. It's not, yeah, it's a nightmare. How about you, James? You're the most experienced.
Yeah, I play with my daughter a lot. Like, she started playing, I think, when she was about sort of 5 or 6. And now she's, she just loves playing games. It's one of those things where it's become, when she's been upset from school and everything, she'll come back and she'll be like, can we play Minecraft together and stuff like that? And it seems, she just really loves doing that.
That's cool.
But she doesn't play all the time. She just mostly plays if I'm playing, but it's mostly just Nintendo stuff. I don't really play any PlayStation games with her because I haven't really got anything that's kind of suitable really. Whereas the Switch has been absolutely perfect for her. And, we just mostly end up playing stuff like Minecraft and, yeah,
and did you have to push through the stuff that Dave and Matt are talking about, or was she always cool about stuff, or was she kind of going nuts and making unreasonable requests at first, and now she's sort of got through that?
There was always that whole sort of can I have a go sort of thing, but not being good enough to be able to do it, but
not being up to my standards.
Yeah, well, no, because that is what it's like. That does get a bit frustrating when you're trying to explain. It's like, look, just jump. Just jump. That's all you got to do. And it's you get that. But then eventually, when you see...
and then it gets they nail jumping. And you're like, oh my God, you know how to jump. This is the best. Right, now jump and also push forward. Oh God.
Yeah.
Back to square one.
But then the thing is when she got through that, I remember the first time I saw her, she was playing, Mario 3D World, and that was the game that was the best game actually ever, for her. And it's the one that got her properly like hooked into stuff, but also learning how games work better. And that it was like when I saw her like completing levels on her own and like really being able to do it, and I was like, yep, she can do it now. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that's been pretty good was actually Minecraft was really good practice for Splatoon in terms of like 3D movement, like using 2 sticks to control things. Because in that, you know, like you're using the sticks to like, you know, in like 3D space, and it's very slow, but she really can, like, she totally mastered that. So when she started playing Splatoon, it's really easy. Like, she didn't have any problems with it at all. And yeah, I was pretty pleased about that. But yeah, we play quite a lot together. But my son, I rarely play with him, and he doesn't seem so interested at all. He just doesn't seem to. I mean, the only game that he really likes to play is Smash Brothers. And there's nothing else that he's really interested in at all, really. It's but my daughter really interested, and it's been really good to play with her.
In terms of what games, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is fantastic. Yeah. Harry with all the assists and stuff. Harry can win championships and stuff, and it makes him happy. So I'm glad that's in there. Know what I mean? Next,
Ryan Hammond. He says, I've been playing it's Theatre Rhythm Curtain Call recently. Can't really get into it. I don't find the rhythm game that enjoyable. I don't like the aesthetic and don't have enough of a connection to Final Fantasy to make the very generous track list meaningful. Have you ever played a game that you know you should love, but it falls flat because you lack the history with the series, movies, books, etc. that inspires them?
Well, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that fits this bill.
So I've always thought, like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to enjoy football games, right? Like, as games. But I can't because I don't know anything about football. I don't know.
You need some of that real world drama. You need to know what that's about.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
At least feel it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I should still like. Why is it that I can't play FIFA, but I could play, like, you know, like Speedball 2 or whatever? Like, it's still,
League.
or yeah, like it's still just a sports game. But because it doesn't have that real world grounding, suddenly I'm like free to just enjoy it. Whereas with football, yeah, it's like say you whether the developers...
Also, do you reckon that's also a psychology... like, it's a... I don't know. There's some sort of element of this is that real-world thing that I don't like, but loads of people do.
Yeah, it's probably got too much baggage attached to it.
Exactly that, yeah. Yeah, like, it's this whole world that you know that you don't really like, so there's part of your brain just thinking... You know, well,
yeah, it's like I'm unable to just appreciate it as like a set of rules and interactions and stuff, which normally would be enough. Because it reminds
you of like real world football too much.
Reminds me of getting beaten up at school.
I have thought of something. Metal Gear Solid games, I should adore them, but I've never really properly been a fan. I mean, I loved Metal Gear Solid 2, which always pisses people off because that's the one that everyone really hates.
That's good.
Yeah, and I couldn't get into 3, and for the life of me, I barely played it, but there was just the Metal Gear Solid 5, I don't know.
Metal Gear Solid is especially wrapped up in its own bullshit as well.
I'll tell you what, though, I started playing Metal Gear Solid, like the first one, again, recently on Vita. Mm-hmm. It's still a really good game. Even though it looks awful, it's still really, really fun to play. Yeah. And the dialogue and everything is still much better than Heavy Rain. Like several, like 20 years on or whatever.
I think like most games, if they're referencing things outside of games, then they never assume you're an expert at anything outside of games. I think they usually, on the rare occasion that games do try and tackle sort of real world things, they usually hold your hand through it. Like they're not. Like I watched, this is going back a few years, a film called Waltz with Bashir, which is all about one of the occasions when Israel invaded Lebanon, and I was like half an hour in, and I was just, oh fuck, this isn't explaining to me what happened. Like, it's just not doing that. It's just assuming that I know. And I remember that because all I do is play fucking video games, they always like hold your hand through these things. But films don't often do that, or at least not to the same extent that games do. But yeah, it's like what Ryan's talking about is more when a thing references a series of games, right? I never bothered with Theatre Rhythm. I know some people got well into it. But again, all Final Fantasy fans, so that makes sense.
Okay, anyone else got an answer?
No.
Okay, are we nearly done?
Well, this is the thing I was going to ask you, right? Is we've still got a lot of content here. Am I going to keep reading these? Or
James, just filter it. Just fucking...
No, but again, if I do that, I get it in the neck from someone else. Like, Matt will have a go and say, no, you can't do that. You've got to do them all. Then you've got David saying...
Matt, why are you asking him to do them all?
I didn't say all. Just said...
You do, you always
have
say
done in
that.
the past, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people take time to tweet us, we should just get reading them, but...
Yeah, but the show's more important than people's feelings.
And it's
I mean,
20 to 12,
we've
Matt.
all experienced that.
Tell me about it.
Go on, next question.
Well, what am I doing? Am I just reading them all, or am I...
Just make a decision, James.
This is every
Take
week
control.
now. I can't.
Every week you ask
This is
us.
ridiculous. I don't want to make a decision about that, because whatever I choose is going to be the wrong one. It's just no good.
Fine, we'll
Do you know
stay all
what?
night then.
Next-
We'll stay all night. We'll just wait. We'll just...
James, next week, can you copy and paste the emails in and just do the ones that you think would lead to a good discussion?
Alright, I'll just do that. Because you see, this at the moment, Matt's been just like putting them all in.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
don't
and
know
then-
why you do that, Matt.
I just thought I'd help out and get things ready for
Yeah, I
the show.
know, I appreciate that, but at the same time, filter it a bit, yeah?
Oh,
We're
so
too
it's my
big
fault
for
now,
this
is it?
now. No, it's not your problem. No, I'm not. No, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming James.
Why? It's not
Because
my
this
fault.
was your job, James. It's the one thing you need to do.
Don't make me suggest the Switch again, James. Because that didn't go down well last time.
I'm not reading the news, Sean. That's not happening.
Well, read a fucking email then.
Haze Red Mist says, question, we don't sit and play games together enough these days. I'm sure you'll agree. So on that note, what are your fondest multiplayer game memories from pre-online times? Mine would have to be Pro Evo tournaments with my mates on the PlayStation 2.
It's
Yeah,
GoldenEye, innit?
Time Splitters, GoldenEye,
Oh,
WCW,
GoldenEye.
NWO Revenge,
Mario Kart 64.
Monkey Ball, Halo.
Halo, yeah. Halo 1.
See, I used to play a load of games over LAN, like PC ones, which were really
I
great.
remember playing
yeah.
MotoGP on Xbox LAN when that came out. I think that was LAN. That was brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, we used to have, we lug our PCs around to mates' houses and play like Action Quake 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
That was good.
Half-Life was
Oh, yeah,
also-
Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I love that map where there's like the two towers either end in space.
Yes.
That was fucking brilliant.
And also Command & Conquer, back in the day
Yeah,
when it was
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Counter-Strike. I mean, that was online, but yeah. I played so much I've just played so much of the original Counter-Strike. It's insane. So good.
Yep.
Matt Leach says, what's worse, Nintendo's online app or David's bacon sandwich?
Oh, fucking... I don't know,
How
actually.
do we get into this?
Which generated the most rancid patter? I reckon there's
Right,
actually
okay.
a neck and neck tie for that.
Let me explain.
No,
I tweeted out.
Dave. No, you're not explaining anything. There's no explaining.
What do you mean?
Well, let's not. Mate, if they want to know, they can find out on their own, right? Dave, let's not explain
Well,
what
no,
happened.
no, because I'm not repeating what we did on the show. I'm talking about something that happened on social media.
Well, that's half the
It's
show.
different. Says you and only you.
And Chris Ban, I've seen a
And
chart.
Chris Ban.
And
again,
Tammy Coleman.
think about the company you're keeping.
Well,
I
questioning
tweeted out
it
a
right
picture
now, let me tell
of
you.
a bacon sandwich with mayonnaise and ketchup next to it, and saying there's only one choice: team ketchup. Like referring to the Splatoon thing. And the amount of tweets I've got about how shit my bacon was. Right, first of all, first point is this. It's a bacon sandwich. I just sling a bit of bacon into bread and eat it. Like, I'm not there trying to create some sort of masterpiece. Secondly, I said to Sean, just after I posted it up, I shouldn't have done that, should I? Because now knowing the internet, people are just going to comment on the bacon and the sandwich element of it and not the actual point that I'm trying to make. And lo and behold, yes, I started getting tweets. So I thought, this would be funny. I'll put some replies out there. Like I wrote this sort of snotty list of like quick answers and tweeted that out. And then when anyone tweeted me with the same patter as the last man, I directed them to that tweet. And that made people furious. I got two guys like calling me a fucking asshole and miserable git and don't put a tweet out there then if you don't want replies. Twitter is so reactionary. Yeah, well, Twitter is reactionary. I put this tweet out and you've just telling me how shit my bacon is. It's like, gee, it's a bacon sandwich. Who gives a shit? Which, yeah, again, I did not care. But if I'm going to come back and have a little back and forth with you, I should really tell you this guy's name, right? Because there was one guy that really came at me, yeah? And so I replied, absolutely ripping into him. And then he came back ripping into me, but it was both clear, like we were both very, very clear that we were just on having a bit of a laugh and a joke with each other. And by the end of it, we were mates. His name's Mike. He's at TestTube27 and he's all right. I've got time for Mike. He's got a profile picture of him sitting on that crane, that fucking chair that all these like nerds love. What is it? The one with all the swords in it. Game of Thrones or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Come on. But still, he's the top bloke. So, follow him or something. It was just weird. My bacon sandwich was fine. As James says, he's had my bacon sandwiches before and they've been nothing less than adequate.
Yeah, it's true. They're fine. Nothing wrong with them.
And you wouldn't put mayonnaise on it either, know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. I mean, that'd just be obscene. Anyway, Adam from Stoke-on-Trent.
Obscene.
Adam from Stoke-on-Trent.
That's a guy that's bought every single Dead or Alive game. Calling that obscene.
Not bought every single one. Actually, no, I probably have actually thinking about it.
I mean,
did you get the Vita one?
No, I haven't got that one yet.
Yet. It's only a matter of time.
Adam from Stoke-on-Trent says, "Evening, folks. Adam from Stoke-on-Trent is back, baby. Summer holidays are here." He says is here, but it's are here.
Did
6
James
weeks.
check it out? Halfway through reading that, he was done. So let's make this the last one. Go on.
6 weeks.
Give this one a bit of passion. Go on, go.
Woohoo, it's my birthday tomorrow. 34 years young.
James giving it passion.
Do me a favour. Okay, start from the beginning, but this time, right? Just genuinely, please try this. Pretend you're either a CBBS presenter
or me,
or a Twitch guy. Just give it a go, right? Just give it a go.
Yeah, but you know that never works out. I tried that with Twitch and it didn't work out.
I know, but I'm just begging you, please try and give it a go. Like you really give a shit and that you're a proper presenter.
You don't understand, James. It's not that we want you to succeed. We just want you to try.
I just want to hear what it sounds like. Go on, go.
I'm tempted, but I don't want to because it'll just sound awful.
For everyone that you don't do that, we will ask you to read another one. So let's give this one all you've got, James. Go. We'll go quiet. We'll go totally quiet to just let you do.
I've gone shy.
James. CBBS, come on, let's go.
Evening, folks. Adam from Stoke-on-Trent. Back, baby. Summer holidays are here. 6 weeks. Woohoo, it's my birthday tomorrow. 34 years young. I'm getting a Switch. I've not had... I'm done. I can't do any more than that.
That was a good effort.
Yeah, well done.
This is rambly. This is like as sporadic as that message was, made it even better.
So the fact you still couldn't help yourself correct the is and are thing.
Grammar.
Yeah. The show must go on, James. Come on.
I've not had a Nintendo console ever, so I'm proper excited. My question is, how does a newbie get into Nintendo? What accounts and stuff do I need these days? Secondly, what is your favourite point-and-click adventure of all time and why?
Wow. Okay. So first, if you want to get into Nintendo, just buy Nintendo games because they're fucking amazing.
Yep.
Get a Switch, get Zelda, get Mario Kart, get Splatoon, get ARMS, and you'll see. You'll see. Just play them. You'll see. Ignore all the bullshit that comes along with them, and just play the games. Because my word, they're good. In terms of accounts, you just need your Nintendo Online account and just link it to your profile when you set up
and stuff. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it is pretty simple if you're just getting into Nintendo now. You set up your Nintendo account and link it to your Switch. That's it. You're done. As for the point-and-click adventures, I don't know. Broken Sword 2, probably.
I liked Sam and Max Hit the Road. That was brilliant.
Never got into those ones. Never got into Sam and Max or like the funny ones for some reason.
Grim Fandango, mate.
That was the first game that legit made me laugh, like from playing a game. It was good.
This might surprise you. I've played through every single Discworld point and click, including Discworld Noir.
Fuck me.
Really? So I wouldn't associate you with that series, to be honest, Dave.
Well, my granddad, who I loved beyond belief, was a massive fan of Discworld. So when I was a kid, because I knew my granddad loved them, I played all the games. Didn't get much out of them, admittedly, but there was a suitcase with legs. That's wacky. But I played through all three of them.
In terms of art direction and tone and style and everything, Grim Fandango's the one for me. I think the puzzles have aged quite badly. Probably get a walkthrough if you're going to play it now. But that high def version they did last year before, proper good.
Do you know what I always wanted to play, and I'm sure it's on Steam or whatever, is The Dig. I always wanted to play that because it looked fascinating, but never did.
My favourite when I was younger was probably The Curse of Monkey Island. Me and my sister played through that, and my sister never really played games, but that was one game we played together and we found it hilarious.
Cool.
That was, actually, I remember my neighbour having that. Like, he was an old fella, and I just remember him keep asking my dad about Monkey Island and if he's played it yet, because we had an Atari STE, and we never bought it. So it was always this game that I knew of growing up, but didn't know what it was, how it played, or anything, what it looked like, because I couldn't just pop on Google back then. Kids couldn't just pop on Google. I mean,
Alta Vista.
Yeah. AOL.com. Right,
/
okay,
Right,
that's
we've
it.
got a problem, right? We haven't done any tweets. What are we doing? Are you just getting rid of all of those?
It's 10 to midnight.
Athene says, Farley clearly hates being on the podcast.
Athene, you got a point. And now we've done a tweet. Matt, what should people do?
You can tweet us, and we might actually respond to those tweets. We're at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. You can email the show. It's the computergameshow@gmail.com. We're on all the other places. We're on YouTube. Go there and subscribe. We hit 500 subs in a week, which is awesome. And to get involved in that Discord, go to our Twitter account and just find the link, and you can join up. But there will also be a link in the show notes, hopefully, and also a link to the email address too.
Cool. And we will catch you next week for hopefully a little bit less Splatoon chat. But can't guarantee that'll be the case. Goodbye.
Night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for living it.
Oh, fuck it.